right, good morning. My name is Don Wharton from Springbrook High School. Today I'm going to talk to you about an ongoing high school strategy during a post-COVID timeframe. And it's so important because we had no idea on March 13th when they sent us home on that Friday the 13th that things would be the way that they are. And almost a year later, if you had a junior from last year or even a senior from last year, things have dramatically changed. And so what I want to share with you today is the best way to survive this process. And probably the best way is to have a strategy. So I have several slides I'm going to share with you, and hopefully I will answer as many questions as possible. I'm going to look in the chat, make sure that there's nobody in the waiting room, and go from there. All right, let me just move this over here, and we should be good to go. All right, so talking about having a strategy, right? And that's an ongoing plan, right? That's going to help you and your family survive this process. And realize there's a lot of moving pieces to having an ongoing plan and strategy. And hopefully you got started that process when your little one came home from the hospital, right? You held them in your arms, you looked at them and says, oh my goodness, you're going to be great. You do wonderful things. You'll be a CEO, you'll be a doctor, you'll be a lawyer, you'll be an Indian chief, you'll do all kinds of wonderful things, right? But in that process, right, life took over. And so what I'm hoping to help you do today is to get you to the point where you have a path. And you're walking this path, and yes, there will be stop signs, and there will be people along the way in that process, right? But the trick will be is to make sure that you have a way to go. And as you can see on the path, you'll probably start off in well, it doesn't show here, but kindergarten. You'll start early in kindergarten, and you'll have a chance to see yourself move through this path, and then on to elementary school, and then on to middle school. And then obviously some type of post-secondary training after they've moved through that part of their journey. Now, let me just let some people here in the room. Great. I think I've got them in. All right. So with that said, what I'm going to show you is a classic example of how things are so totally different as a result of the pandemic, right? So pre-pandemic, it was relatively easy for your son or daughter, right, to venture out and do lots of different things. They could volunteer at Habitat for Humanity. They could possibly work at Holy Cross Hospital. They could do fire rescue. They could do the MCPD Police Explorers program. All of these programs were relatively available and easy to do and easy to monitor. However, significantly different since the pandemic. So I'll give you an example of a student of ours who has found a way to survive through the pandemic. So one way is by making sure that he has been actively involved in leadership programs, right? And an example I'll give here is Boys to Men program at Montgomery College. He's also a member of some other mentoring programs, right? On the academic side of the equation, he's making sure that he's on the dean's list and doing his honor roll in school. And then because prior to the pandemic, right, he was involved in fire rescue, he still is involved in volunteering doing fire rescue. And he had a job at Safeway before the pandemic. So he is a first responder in two different ways. So again, as we look at what happens in the process, right, of surviving the pandemic, you would have had to have had an idea of what you were going to do prior to that. Now, let me show you here. This is the Jack Kim Cook Scholarship. And I want to show you some of the questions that they're asking on the scholarship application, because it's really hard to plan a strategy if you have no idea where you're going. It's like having a plane ticket and not knowing exactly which airport in Chicago you're going to fly out to and which airport in Washington, D.C. you're going to land at. So you have to have some idea. So part of what I'm showing you here is having a look at the questions prior to the actual time that you're applying for the scholarship. And I'm sharing that with you because as part of the strategies, you want to know what kinds of questions are being asked. And as you can see, one of the questions says, what excites you about being part of our academic community? So if your student has never thought about being part of an academic community, this is a way to make sure that they have an understanding. They ask, give me a positive example of when you were a leader in your community. The idea is that you want to have an idea of what these questions look like so that you can start to have those dinner time conversations about leadership, participation, being involved, being an active member of your community. So here's another question that they ask. Think big, work hard, achieve, right? Give me some positive examples of how you've done that. And this student, this is how he answered. He said, he's a first generation applying for college, thinking big, right? He gives examples of how he's worked hard or is working hard. And when he does that, is that he lists some of the different activities that he's in. Again, you're building a profile that's going to allow the college to say, yes, you need to be part of our program, or in the way of a scholarship, yes, we need to share our resources with you at this time. The academics. So here's a question they ask about, tell me about an experience in which you learned from, right? And so as part of that, as your student sits and looks at these questions, right, give me an example of how you achieved. They get a chance to learn how to measure. And again, it's our responsibility as parents to help them through this process. Now, in order to make that work, you need to have a 10-year plan. And I know some people are like, 10 years? Yeah, 10 years, it goes by fast. And when I say 10 years, imagine when your son or daughter was a little one, toddling around, right, going from point A to point B, until now they have a cell phone, they have friends. 10 years goes by quick. Part of that process is that you need to kind of learn your students' learning style, right? And as part of that, and again, there's lots of different programs that will help you do that, acquire an understanding about their learning style. But if you know their learning style, you can then work and teach them to that point. Because remember, you are your sons and daughters' first set of teachers. In that process of observing what they like, part of that is building a network of people who can help them long-term, right? So they can get exposure to, so they can say, okay, Dr. Jones is a dentist, I love teeth. Boy, I don't mind emptying trash cans on the weekend just to kind of be around it and be in the environment and figure it out. Part of that strategy in a post-COVID world is making sure you have a financial plan for your son and daughter as part of this process. We have, over the past several months, seen parents lose their parents, grandparents. Students have lost their grandparents. Some, in some cases, have lost their parents. And not having a financial plan puts them at risk, right, for not making it to their next level of goals. And then the last part is executing. You can imagine that if you were good enough to make it to the Olympic track team, right, you would still be training even though there's a pandemic. You would think about, how can I be quicker, faster, better, more resilient? You wouldn't just step back and say, I'll let it work out. No, you would have a plan. Now, what I'm sharing with you here on this screen is a list of the top 20, 25 universities that have an endowment. Now, these numbers are in the billions, but I do want you to understand these are organizations that thought forward and ahead, so that when these kinds of disasters happen, right, and they catch a small cold, you don't get a flu. As you can see from the list, right, you have the opportunity that if these are the schools that you were shooting for, realize that when you put them there, that there is at least a plan in place. So what I'm going to share with you just briefly is a look at a plan, right? And if you look at it and you break it into quarters, that first quarter of your plan, and this would apply for someone who's going to be starting as a senior in the fall, right, of this coming school year, right, is that you want to finish those college applications by August 5th of your senior year. Yes, August 5th, because Common App opens August 1. You, as a family, would have already researched and set aside the money for application fees, or at least looked at schools that have waivers, and you would have put that list together, and I'll share that with you on a separate screen, made the list, and got those applications in. The other part of that is that you're going to want to make sure, because we're into February now, that your sons and daughters have done their applications for internships for the summer of 2021. Yes, we're in COVID, but realize that we're getting the shot. Things are slowly but surely getting back to normal. And what you don't want to do is to be out there in June and July looking for an internship for summer 2021. Now that you've had that perfect summer internship, things have gone well, you've got your letters of recommendation. At the end of that, you're going to be gearing up and preparing to do that free financial aid form, the FAFSA, right, for this coming, it'll be 22, right? And in order to do that, you have to realize that that's now available October 1. You need to be done with that no later than the 15th. When I say done with that, meaning that you don't have the stress of worrying about whether or not that's done. In the meantime, you're still pressing your student to make sure that they are academically moving forward and having a great semester. At that point, between November and January, which will be your third quarter, you're now in the process of putting together the scholarships and getting that information sent. And at that point, by March, you're finalizing your final decisions. You're sitting at the dinner table. You have your list of 15 to 20 colleges that you've applied to, or maybe less, depending on what your student's majoring in, right? And then you make those final decisions. Because realize that by the 1st of May, they're going to be looking for a deposit, a check, and earnest money that, yes, you're going to be coming in the fall. And they want you to come in the fall. Now, if for some reason you are still nervous about the college process, strategy-wise, what do? One of the strategies is that you can do an apprenticeship. Some places have gap years, right? And I say places, meaning the colleges have gap years, or you can create your own gap year. But also the apprenticeship program in the state of Maryland is phenomenal. You have lots of options. And I can leave in the chat for you the website and how to get there. But for example, there's an electrical, there's pile driving, there's carpentry, there's plumbing, right? So you have lots of options. And some of those starting wages, the $18.40 or 20 cents an hour, allows you to start chunking away. So if my son or daughter were thinking about being an electrical engineer, I would not be nervous for them to learn about electricity, right, at this level, get a journeyman's license, and still go to college. Now, some of the programs, majority of the programs have credits that are transferable to the junior college. So it is not a bad strategy. It is an option. You have to decide. If you know that your son or daughter is mechanically inclined, right, they like the idea of electricity, they're in the garage or in the basement building things that are electrical, this would enhance it. As you can see, there's programs all across the Maryland area. So the question is, how much could they make during this time frame in which they're gearing up for their long-term career? Because again, if you think about it as a meal, doing the apprenticeship is an opportunity to have your soup and salad before you have your main course. And in that process, right, you can go a lot of different ways. Solar panels, and in fact, if you've recently heard the news, by 2025, right, GM is talking about moving all of their cars, components, to electrical, right? So the idea of only one Chevy Volt, it's not going to be a one-on. They're going to be having more and more cars. In other countries worldwide, they are looking at moving towards the electrical platform. So it's not a bad strategy. They may decide that they love airplanes, right? And the idea that you could be a aircraft mechanic is possible, and you can do that in a 2-year time frame. Because maybe you're nervous about putting or sending your son to college, right, or daughter to college at this point, not knowing exactly what's going to happen. This is an excellent way for them to acquire some skills and keep moving forward in the process. Because in reality, it is truly all about leadership, right? Our goal as parents, right, and educators is to make sure that they have the leadership skills to survive when we are not there. That is our ultimate goal, is to make sure that they can move forward in the process and be able to do great things. In order for that to happen, I've designed 7 sheets of success as a guidepost and as a tool that you can use on a day-to-day basis with your student. Those 7 components are, and in no particular order, because I want to make sure that you realize that all of those moving parts are important, is you have to have a network, right? You have to have a group of supporters that are making sure that they're helping you and your student move forward in the process. And I'll show you that on a separate spreadsheet. You have to have a money sheet. You got to have a list of scholarships that you are thinking that you want your son or daughter to earn. You cannot wait till after you've done applying for college to say, oops, I think I'm going to look for scholarships. The looking for scholarships happens as early as freshman year. You want to know that there's a Posse scholarship. You want to know that there's a Jackhammer scholarship. You want to know that there's a Questbird scholarship. And you're building your academic resume, athletic resume, and community service resume to that goal. You'll want to look at the internships. How early can you do internships? As early as your freshman year. The trick is you're going to have to think about and discuss with your student where they need to go and what they want to do, and then you can build around that. The academic resume, a separate area. You're going to want to start building that now. You're not going to want to wait until things are helter-skelter, right? Till their sophomore year and they've got C's and D's. No. You want to build that resume starting freshman year so they can see it. And to give you an example, as you can see, you're tracking that data about what they're doing in school quarter by quarter, right? So that they know where they are. Because you wouldn't drive your car without knowing how much gas you have. It's the same thing. You'd want to know exactly where you are. Now, in that process, you want to use some manual tools. And you see this big yellow sheet of 3M Post-it paper, right? And on it, it has little squares about potential schools. And you can do this with the potential scholarships. And it's posted in an area so that everyone in the household knows what you're working on. So if you're saying, hey, I want to be an econ major, and you do the Google search and you do the research, you figure out that these are the top 20 schools for econ. And then maybe you decide that there's a second major that you want to do. You're going to start that process again on that sheet. You can also start those internships early. And as you can see in this case, the students started in their sophomore year in 2015, right? They did 2 separate internships that prepared them to do an internship NIH in 2016. Again, the goal is to make sure that they have the options and they start early. So here's my ongoing question. How much do you think it costs to go to Princeton, right? And if you think about what it costs to go to Princeton, that's one set of questions. The second set of questions that you really should be asking yourself is, what does it take to get into Princeton? And if you go to their website, they will give you a freshman profile. And for example, this is Princeton's freshman profile, and it tells you the number of students that qualify for Pell Grants, number of students that are Princeton alumni, right? Number of students that are first generation, and they give you hardcore data about SAT and ACT. So if you know that your student is trending at 21, 22 on an ACT and you've taken it 2 or 3 times, it may not be financially fiscal for you to spend the $100 on the application if they're only looking at 33s to 35s. Again, strategically looking at the data before you make decisions. After all of that, and if you look at the numbers, they had 32,000 people that applied, 32,000 probably very well qualified candidates. But of that, right, they only sent letters to less than 2,000. So the idea is that you want to set yourself up for success and have those opportunities to look. So as you build your dream sheet and you think about where you want to go, and this document should be a living document. You're going to add to it and you're going to take off, and you're going to be in a situation where you're going to pass this every day. Now your son or daughter should see it and go like, oh yeah, that's why I'm getting up to go to school this morning. That's what I'm going to do. And then if you look and you start plugging in the dates, you start checking off, okay, I sent the application, right? I've done the ACT. I've set up my Common App. I've set up my Universal App. And as you can see in this case, you're walking by it. This particular student is going to Wash U for free, and his brother is going to Case Western for free. But that's because as a family, they made a decision about knowing the data and knowing what schools they liked and didn't like and had thoughts about, so that everyone sees where you're going. And you punch in the numbers, and you see it and you walk by. Every time you're walking out the door, you should see it. It should be right in front of you. If you knew you were going to Disney as your first experience right after the pandemic, you would plan the room, plan the flight, make sure you had a rental car, make sure you had tickets to the park. You would do all of these things. It's no different. You can also set it up on a spreadsheet, right? But you have to kind of know what direction you're going in. And so your senior year may look totally different than your junior year. And as you think about your junior, you think about the major ongoing factors, right? Your GPA, your PSAT score, the internships that you want to have, the SAT scores, right? Any junior college credit, right, that you've already started putting together. Because in your sophomore year, which is a builder to your junior year, right, you're still plugging in the information. You're looking at it and saying, how do I get to this point? Because eventually, when you're a senior, you will be at this point where you're actually charting everything, right? And again, we live in a wonderful space. You have access to wonderful internship opportunities, incredible junior college opportunities with Montgomery College that's here, right? And all of the corporate business that's here. You have the opportunities. It's not like you're living in Kansas, Dorothy. You have options. But that only works if you start charting the numbers. You start looking at the direction you're going to go. Because by the time they are seniors, they're going to go through a process of applying and doing interviews and sending test data and doing campus visits. And even if they're virtual, and I should say that my strategy is that if you and your child have come across a school that you are in love with, let's say that that's UNC Chapel Hill, it is okay to have your windows rolled up and actually go and do a drive-by. Go see it. Go see the campus. See what, see where buildings are. See where the library is. And again, you may not be able to go in, but at some point you have to visualize them there. They have to visualize themselves there, because remember, they're taking your checkbook or your credit card on that journey. And again, it's so important to know where your numbers are and know where the data is. One of the things I'll show you in a couple seconds is having a spreadsheet that gets you tracking the information and tracking the data. As you can see, this student, right? They had 20 schools they applied to. Some of them they got denied by, and that's okay, right? Because again, you're looking for college fit, right? But realize as a parent, it's going to cost you some money to make that happen. In order for that to also happen, you need to know what the options are. So this is an example of a student that's doing a pre-med and wants to do a pre-med program, and some of them are 4-year, 7-year programs, some of them are 8-year programs. But if you don't know what those options are, then you're kind of at risk. Not kind of at risk, you are at risk. Now, realize because of the pandemic, they've done some major changes to saying whether or not they're going to accept the ACT or SAT and they're going to waive it and you don't have to take it. Realize that having that data helps them make a better decision on your behalf. Now, we are, and I'm showing you now, a list of test optional schools where the testing part does not matter in the application. However, realize that this is a very expensive experience that's happening to you going to college. And so I want to make sure that you realize that you look at the numbers, you look at the cost of attendance. And as you can see on this screen, row H and row I, row H showing the tuition costs, row I showing the room and board, it is very expensive. So that's why I need you to think and be strategic in that process. Because at some point, they're going to come back and say, yes, you're accepted. And you're going to have to look at an awards letter. And they're going to say, okay, here's what it costs to go to school. Here's how much money we're offering you. And by the way, here's what you need to do in order to take out a loan in order to move that forward. As you know, in a post-COVID world, I'm not anxious or excited about sending anyone to acquire any debt at this point. We do not know how long this journey is going to be. And so I want you to have those hard conversations with your student about putting everyone at risk. And that's why you have a scholarship tab. And in that scholarship tab, you have a list of colleges, of scholarships, right? And you go about the process of tracking the money, when the deadline is, how much money potentially going to be there, and making sure that that gets executed. An example you'll see here is a student who wanted to play basketball at college. And the idea here is that if he was going out and playing every 2 or 3 days, he needed to know how many points he scored, how many rebounds, right? How many defensive blocks. That's all tracking the data so that you can make sure that you make great decisions.
Hello, my name is Cynthia Hammond Davis, and I am being assisted today by Centanya Somerville. We are going to be presenting How to Pay for College. I am with Wheaton High School. I'm the College and Career Information Coordinator at Wheaton High School. Miss Somerville is at Clarksburg, and Miss Nicole Burkhalter is at Damascus High School. So let's get started. So first of all, I need to know who's in the room. So I need to know who I'm speaking with. So if you are a middle school student, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, put that in the chat now. Okay.
It looks like we have one 8th grader, two eighth graders and their parents, as well as 2 11th graders, so 2 juniors.
Awesome.
1 10th and 12th has joined us as well.
Wonderful. So there's always a question that says, is it too early to start preparing for college? Absolutely not. Because college is expensive and you will need scholarship money. So we are here to help you develop a plan so you can strategically plan ahead now to be a candidate for the big scholarship money that's renewable every year at the colleges, and to let parents know that they need to plan financially by knowing their expected family contribution, and we'll talk about that in this presentation. So let's do the admissions game. So ladies and gentlemen, you are now admissions directors. You are the admissions people who will be admitting the following students in your school. You will see 5 students from which to choose. However, you only have 2 spots left. So out of the 5, you have to choose only 2. So Dennis is a serious and dedicated student. His studies are very important to him. He has worked tremendously hard in school, and because of this, he has not participated in many extracurricular activities. Both of his parents have college degrees and have encouraged and supported Dennis's efforts. Since Dennis met his high school requirements for graduation, he decided to drop a couple of his classes, including math, his senior year. Let's talk about Randall. You can see Randall's GPA and his SAT scores. Randall became involved with gangs, drugs, and violence in 7th grade through 9th grade, but always stayed in school. In his sophomore year, Randall's counselor saw his potential and started encouraging him to do better. He turned his life around and is now working extremely hard to not only graduate from high school, but also to go to college. Randall's file contains numerous letters of recommendation from his teachers, his counselor, and the homeless shelter employees where he volunteers weekly. Olivia. Olivia has always earned very high grades and has been actively involved in school and extracurricular activities. She is the captain of the Women in Engineering Society group at her school, and her team won first place in a national robotics competition. Olivia is in her 2nd term as student body president. She also started a peer tutoring program at her school. Ronald. Now, Ronald's father died when he was 7 years old, and he has since helped his mother take care of the house and his 2 younger siblings. He also works 20 hours a week at a shoe store. He has been captain of his school's soccer team for the past 2 years and has several NCAA Division I colleges recruiting him. Because of his limited free time, Ronald has to balance work, school, and family. Ronald's mother graduated from this university and would love him to be admitted. Now let's talk about Dana. Dana was in 7th grade when her family immigrated to the United States. She and her family came as farm workers and did not speak English when they first arrived. She will be graduating in June and wants to go to college. Her family and many of the farm workers depend on Teresa to translate for them and to drive them for doctor's appointments, etc. She also works weekends and evenings to support her family. So who did you choose? Dennis, the high-achieving one? Now you get 2, right? Dennis, the high-achieving one, Randall, who turned his life around, Olivia, the engineering student, Ronald, who works to help family, and he's on the soccer team, Dana, whose family is immigrants and farm workers. Put it in the chat. So we have that information?
We do. We have Dennis and Olivia for 1 response.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to the next screen unless you want, did you want to
We
tell
all,
me something else? Okay.
yes, we also have Randall and Ronald.
Awesome.
It appears as though Randall has the majority.
Very good. Randall, who turned his life around. Awesome. Okay, so you chose those students based on what you felt based on your choices. And this is exactly how the colleges will choose students as well. All of those students would have been able to get into a college, maybe not this one because they only had two spots left, but all of those students were able to get into a college. So the reason why I did that was to show you that all colleges have a need, and they're looking for students who will fit that need. So looking if a college is looking for academics and extracurriculars, they may have looked at Dennis and Olivia. If they say, for example, this college was a Division 1 or a Division 2 or a even a Division 3 school, and the soccer team, they were trying to rebuild because the soccer team, all of the people or the majority of their soccer team were graduating. They were seniors and graduating from college. Well, they had to rebuild their team, and Ronald seemed like a good fit for that particular school. What if the college had a academic program, an achievement program that helped students who struggled in school for some reason? They will provide them with extra support, extra mentoring, extra tutors. Then Randall would fit in that category for that college. What if they would look like Salisbury University, who's looking for immigrant students? For their families have come over as farm workers, they're willing to give them a scholarship. So you see, students will meet the need of the college. So what will you bring to the college? Do you have what they're looking for or what they're seeking? Some colleges are looking for diversity, and diversity is broad. Okay, it's broader than ethnicity. It's gender, it's race, the location. Is the student out of state? How far are they coming to the school? Are the school looking for more students who are in that state to attend their school? What about another country? So colleges are looking for specific things. So, also, what colleges are looking for, you have to bring the grades, okay? You have to be college ready. You have to have SAT or ACT scores if the colleges are looking at it right now. Because of the COVID-19, right now, a lot of the colleges have made it test optional, but you would have to check whenever you are going to college to see what their requirements are. So they're going to make sure you are college ready, and the only way they can see that is through the grades that you are bringing in on your transcript and your scores. Community service is also very important. It's not necessarily the quantity, but the quality of the community service that you're doing. Remember Randall? He was volunteering at a homeless shelter. And what happened? The people at the homeless shelter sent in recommendation letters to the colleges regarding Randall. That's what it's about. How do you affect your community? What are you doing and what are people saying about what you're doing? What that does, it tells the college, if Randall is doing this now in high school, we know that he's going to continue to do the same at the college and represent the college well. Extracurricular activities are also important. In school activities, internships, and summer enrichment programs, all of that builds a whole lot of interest in your application. So, how students will represent the college on and off campus is very important because colleges want to be recognized and you are the ones who bring that recommendation to the college. I'm sorry, the recommendation and the word I just couldn't remember. You bring those requirements to the college that they're looking for. Students who are first to attend college in their family, they may also be a student who the colleges are looking for. The ones who have overcome challenges like Randall also are students who colleges may be looking for as well. So, how do you find out? You ask. Email the college, talk with the admissions representative, and ask them what they're looking for. Tell them what you have. Okay? They love to talk with students. So, what does this have to do with paying for college? Colleges will pay for what they need. All right? So, if you bring what they need in your application, the majority of them will give you scholarship money just to come. And it all depends on how much the college has to give. So, how much depends on the need and the college's budget. So, remember, teamwork is the key. Working together as a team is going to be very, very important. So, everyone has a role: the student, the parent, the school, the community, etc. Everyone has a role to play when it comes to college and scholarship planning. Getting good grades, as I said before, is always, always number one. Students must do their very, very best in school. Now, remember, colleges will only see, for the majority of you who are applying, they will only see the 9th grade, the 10th grade, and the 11th grade transcript when you apply. So students only have 3 years before applying to college in the fall of their senior year. So when does your transcript start? The first day of 9th grade. That's right, the first day of 9th grade. GPAs will get students accepted to college along with their challenging courses. If you're taking honors or AP, or if your school is an IB program, dual enrollment, all of these look very good on the transcript. Of course, great SAT and ACT scores. Your courses, again, in honors and AP. If you are into leadership at your school, or you're into, if you're doing anything that brings leadership, that's also what the colleges are looking for as well. Science, technology, engineering, and math is huge right now, okay, and may bring scholarship money. So these are all the things that will help you pay for college. Now, what if you're struggling? What if there's a subject that you're not too strong in and you need some help? Well, Montgomery County Public Schools has an organization called Saturday School. The long name is George B. Thomas Learning Academy. And yes, it's on Saturdays, only for 2 hours. So all MCPS students can get tutoring from the best teachers in Montgomery County in the subjects that you're struggling in. So if you need help, and you know that grades are going to be the first thing that colleges are looking for and may bring some really good money, you need to get some tutoring. And tutoring at Saturday School is very inexpensive. It's only $85 for the semester, or $40 for students who qualify for that discount. All right. And I know tutors who charge $150 an hour, but this is only $85 per semester. For more information about that, check out SaturdaySchool.org. It is going to be very, very important for you to make appointments with your counselor. I would say make the appointment maybe yearly, okay? So that you know exactly where your child is in in their academics. And students, it's okay for you to reach out to your counselors and make an appointment with them as well, just to talk about your courses. Now, right now, we are in registration as far as high schools are concerned. And now students are looking at classes that they're going to be taking next year. Parents, if you are also listening to this, you need to be a part of that as well. Now, teachers have recommended certain classes for your child, but you should also be a part of that. If you have any questions, I would definitely tell you to reach out to the counselor via email to ask or to have those questions answered. All right. If you are 11th and 12th grade, even 10th grade, you can discuss your plans for college, military, or going directly to work or trade school. You can also make an appointment with the people who are at your school that have my position, the College and Career Information Coordinator, better known as CCIC. We can help you with that, but then your counselors can help you take the courses that will lead to where you would like to go after high school. So we will discuss your college application process, when to request transcripts and recommendation letters. Most of the time, this will be in your 12th grade year, but it's also important every year to reach out to your counselor. Be sure to make an appointment, okay? Because counselors are very, very busy during this time of year. But make sure that you make an appointment and stay in touch with them. So let's play the scholarship game. So take off that admissions hat because you've already admitted those two students. Now I need you to put on the scholarship and financial aid hat. So now your college is $30,000, but you only have $30,000 left in the college budget, and you have two students you just admitted. So the two students who you chose to admit to the college, how much will you give them? I'll give you 30 seconds to put it in the chat.
Remember, we need to know which two students you would choose to offer the scholarship to.
Right.
Which two students you would choose.
Okay. Do we have some amounts there?
We do.
All right.
And it looks like Olivia and Dennis were the ones chosen. Okay. And most people chose to split that 50-50. So 15,000 each.
And my goodness, I did the same. So $15,000 for each student. So what does that mean? So that means that the college provided $15,000 as what we call a merit-based scholarship. So these students, if they keep their grades up, will receive from the college every year $15,000. Okay, so that totals $60,000 for 4 years. So how in the world do we pay the rest? Because there's $15,000 left. All right. So there was a national study done by this organization called Sallie Mae, and they said at an average, here's who pays for college. 43% will come from parent income and savings, 33% from student income and savings and student borrowing, 6% from parent borrowing, 30% from scholarships and grants, 5% from relatives and friends. So as you can tell, parent income and savings are the number one source of funding. So where is money? Where can we find this money? So let's start with the federal government. The federal government has a form that's filled out every year by students who are planning to attend college. It's called the FAFSA for short, but it's for the free application for federal student aid. It doesn't cost you anything to fill it out. Over $150 billion is available every year, and it's available in four ways: scholarships and grants that you don't have to pay back, work study, where students will work on or off campus and receive a check, and the L word that no one wants to hear about, loans. But over 40% of that $150 billion is in the form of loans. So who fills this out? The high school senior and one parent. So if you're a two-parent household, you choose, because both of the information is going on the FAFSA. When should you complete the form? The form should be completed by the senior, high school senior year, October 1st. Okay, so October 1st of the high school senior year. Between that time, and then there's a deadline for your state, but I always tell students between October and December, before you leave school for winter break, complete this form, because some colleges will start distributing money or have a deadline at their college, like the University of Maryland College Park, January 1st. So seniors fill this out between October 1st and December. Now, there are other financial aid forms that may be required as well, but today we're just going to talk about the FAFSA form. Now, who should fill this out? Everyone who qualifies should fill this form out. And qualifiers, there may be some requirements, like you have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. You have to have a social security number, and then there's some other requirements. But if you don't fit some of those requirements, I'll tell you about another form in a few minutes. So families who have a lot of income should still fill out the FAFSA form. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. It is a requirement for most scholarships. So why do you fill out the form? Well, one of the reasons you fill out the form is to get your expected family contribution, and it's abbreviated EFC. So this is an estimate by the federal government of what you may be able to pay at a minimum for your child's tuition every year. And it's based on the income, the assets, and the information that you have put in the FAFSA. Now, it isn't the exact amount, but it's an estimate. You could pay less, or you could pay more at the college, depending on the college's budget and the need. So let's talk about the cost of attendance. What is the cost of attendance? Well, the cost of attendance is everything that the college will charge: tuition, room, board, book, fees, transportation, and more. So let's just say our college, remember, is $30,000. After your parents have filled out the FAFSA form, their EFC, expected family contribution, came up to be $10,000. Now, this is the money that they will pay out of pocket. Now, remember, it's an estimate. It could be more, it could be less. All right. So for today, we're just using this as an example. The college is $30,000. The parents pay the $10,000 out of pocket. Then the colleges say the need for this student is $20,000. And the college will say, how much of this can we help the student with? Some colleges will pay 60, 70, 80, even some colleges will pay 100% of the 20. The University of Maryland pays 63%, sometimes a little less. So if they pay 63% of that $20,000 that was left, who pays the rest? the family. Okay, so again, all colleges are different. So some colleges may pay 100% of the need, and some colleges may pay less. How do you find out? Go to the college. There is something called a net price calculator. Every college that receives federal funding from the government has to have the net price calculator on their website. This will show you what you may have to pay per year. So, you got that $15,000 scholarship, right? The college is $30,000, remember? Minus the parents' $10,000 that they're bringing in, leaves you with the $20,000 that the college is going to help you with. They've already given you the $15,000, so they've helped, right? This leaves $5,000 left for the student and the parent, and that $10,000 out of pocket. So again, the cost is going to still be $15,000 that's owed from the parents and the student. So the student can get part of the loan, the parents can get part of the loan, or they can look for scholarships and grants from the outside. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's just say that one of the colleges that your students applied to, you got $25,000. All right. Now, this is an out-of-state private school that's $50,000, but they gave you $25,000. You still have to bring in that $10,000 out-of-pocket loan, maybe. Okay, remember, it could be more, it could be less, depending on the college's budget. So your need for this particular school then would be $40,000. They're giving you $25,000 in a scholarship. You have $15,000 that's left. All right. So you still owe the $25,000. The parents still bring in their $10,000. The students will try to find scholarships and grants to bring in more money for that $15,000 that's owed. Now, let's say they've applied to a huge cost college, a large cost. The college costs $75,000 a year. But let's just say Dana, or was it Olivia? I think it was Dana. No, it's Olivia. Olivia was the engineering student, and this is a college that is looking for female engineers. And regardless of what her parents make, they are looking for students who meet that criteria. She meets the need. All right. The parents still will have that $10,000 EFC. They could pay more. They could pay less. Remember? Now they are, the need for the college is $65,000 after the out-of-pocket expense. But this student is getting $70,000 because they need her as a female engineer at their school, and they're willing to pay. So now that's cut everyone's costs down to $5,000. So you see what brings in the money? The need of the college, and if the student meets that need, then they most likely will pay. Now, not all colleges will pay the same amount. Students will apply to 5, 6, 7, 8 schools, and they will get a different cost from every school. Now, parents, it's time to have a heart-to-heart conversation. How much can parents contribute? All right. How much parents can contribute every year to the college? So this is a conversation that needs to happen. And then you need a plan A, B, C, and D, maybe all the way to Z. All right. So I'm just dealing with A, B, C, and D today. So as parents, you sit down and you talk and you look at your finances and you come up with an amount that you can pay per year. And you write it down. and you blow it up poster size and you put it all around the house, even on the refrigerator, the computer, their cell phone, wherever they're going to be looking, and you tell your dear sweet child, this is how much we have to pay for college per year. And do this early. I have some 8th grade students on this call. This is the time to talk about how much you are paying for college and how much they have to bring from the college in order to go. So you got that amount? Now, sweetie, you can apply to any college you would like to apply. But know this, if the college is way out of our budget, you already know how much we can pay. So you are going to have to bring some significant money from that college that's renewable every year in order for you to go. And you're going to have to look for some other scholarships as well, maybe. Then you'll be able to go to that college if there's nothing left over or if there's a small amount that we can pay. If it's still too much, we are going to Plan B. Plan B is that less affordable state college, 4-year college. The same thing applies though. The student must bring some type of merit-based scholarship that's going to be renewable every year. You pay whatever you said you're going to pay, whatever you posted on the walls and on their computers. Okay? If it's still too much, Plan C. Plan C, 2-year community college. Families may be able to pay this without going into debt. Then you go to the community college for 2 years, and hey, if you meet certain requirements, it's possible that you could go to the 2-year college paying nothing through the Community Promise Scholarship. But there are some qualifications. So let's just say you've taken this route, right? You've gone to the college for 2 years, the community college, and then you transfer to the 4-year college when you're a junior. All right. And then you have 2 more years left at the 4-year college, and it's senior year, and you're sitting at graduation. You are sitting by someone who came in 4 years ago. The only difference is that you came in 2 years ago and you may not have much debt to pay, where they came in 4 years ago and they probably have a lot of money to pay, maybe. All right. So your degree looks no different than theirs. All right. The only difference is you came in 2 years ago and they were there 4 years. You may be in less debt than they are. Plan D. Ladies and gentlemen, because we are in this economic crisis and a lot of people have lost their jobs, you may have to have a family conversation to say, you might have to go to work full time and go to school part time, or vice versa. Go to college full time, work full time. Do it according to your budget. Whatever it is, have a heart to heart conversation with your children. So, where are the scholarships? They're available at the college. We've already shown that, right? Just by applying. Sometimes colleges will give you scholarship money, merit-based scholarship money, just by applying. Some may want another application, all right? So through the federal government, there's money available. We've talked about that. The FAFSA form, the free application for federal student aid. There's also state money. Maryland has money, millions of dollars. Okay, we'll talk about that on the next slide. Local scholarships, scholarships that are available in the local area. You can find them out in your counseling department. Your college and career information coordinator will have this information as well. Most of us have a website that we have all of these scholarships listed, so make sure that you are checking periodically. Now, most of the scholarships that come in to the College and Career Center will be for students who are in their senior year. However, there may be some scholarships from time to time that come in that we can share with the rest of the students. There are national scholarships also available. So it's important to make sure that you are looking in all areas, okay? So, all right. So let's talk about state money. So we've talked about federal, let's talk about state. The Maryland Higher Education Commission is a place where students can register to receive state monies. There's state grants available, there's scholarships available, all right? And the families who cannot fill out the FAFSA form for some reason, there's also money that they may be eligible for through this form called the MISFA, the MSFAA form. Check with your college and career center for more information. There's also senator, delegates, elected officials, all of them have money, right? And so it's important for you to reach out to them to get that money. Also, through the Maryland Higher Education Commission, there are specific states that have an agreement with Maryland called the Academic Common Market. So if in Maryland, we do not offer, the colleges in our state do not offer a specific major or a concentration within that major, and another state does that's a part of this academic common market, you could go to that public state school out of state paying in-state tuition, saving you $10,000 to $15,000 a year for 4 years. All right? Great bargain. So that is the website for that, and you can definitely look for more information on that. But ladies and gentlemen, guess what you need to do in order to apply to any of these? Complete that FAFSA form. All right? That's important. Complete the FAFSA. There are national scholarships available, but I want to say a couple of things about national scholarships, even state scholarships. Don't believe the hype. There may be $12 million available, and it seems like it's available for a whole lot of students, right? There's one called the Posse Foundation Scholarship. Awesome scholarship. 2 of our students at Wheaton High School are Posse scholars, so we're excited. But there is a lot of competition for that money, and so students will receive, who become Posse scholars, $50,000 or more, totaling $200,000, okay, for this scholarship. Now, let me tell you something about this scholarship. It's tuition only. Remember, we talked about what the cost of attendance is? It's tuition, room, board, book, fees, da-da-da-da-da. All right? But this one is tuition only, which is a great scholarship. And I think that all students who are nominated should definitely go through the process, because you might be one of the ones who get it. So over 1,600 students are competing for these Posse Foundation scholarships. How many students receive the scholarship? 60. There is another one called the Ron Brown Scholarship. At this time, I want to say, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. We're going to answer the questions in a few minutes. We do have some time to answer questions, so go ahead and put them in the chat, and we're going to answer them in a few minutes. We'll have a question time. So $1 million is available for the Ron Brown Scholarship. Last year, 5,000 students applied for this scholarship, and the students who received it received $10,000 a year for 4 years, okay? And so that would total $40,000. So if there's anyone who has, please mute your phones or mute your computers for me, please. Thank you. All right, so 5,000 students applied for this scholarship. How many students received the scholarship? 25. So what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and apply to these scholarships. You may be one of the students who get it, but you may not be able to put all of your eggs in one basket. So apply to as many as you can, and hopefully you will receive some. So we can't necessarily say, okay, this is the scholarship that I'm applying for and I'm going to get this and I'll minus it from whatever. You have to wait until you find out if you actually qualify. Now, parents, I have homework for you today. You can find out today what your expected family contribution number is by going to the YouTube that's going to be put in the chat. All right. So the YouTube channel is there. It is a instructions of how to find your expected family contribution. You will need your current tax information, or you can use tax information from another time. This is just an estimate. Remember, this is an estimate. All right. So have your tax information ready. Look at the YouTube. It's going to give you instructions of where to go and how to fill it out. Make sure that you are in a calm setting. Maybe have some nice tea of whatever flavor you like, coffee, hot cocoa, whatever you drink to make yourself comfortable, okay, before you look at the results. There is an awesome book that I want to introduce you to that's going to help you plan for college. It has a checklist for 9th, 10th, and 11th and 12th grade of what you should be doing. It has the charts that you can type on based on, colleges that you're thinking about, what they have, what you like, what you don't like. When you start getting financial aid award letters, there's a chart there that you can put how much the college costs, how much they're giving you, so that you can kind of look at what's going to best fit your family. So this book, we're going to put in the chat the information. It is an ebook, so you'll be able to download it. So it's very good information for students who are 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. All right. And here are some websites. You can take a picture of this. I'm pretty sure that this is being recorded so that you can have this information available. These are there's some national scholarships on here. The first one is collegeboard.org. That's the testing site for the SAT. You register for the AP test with that. There are some scholarship searches on there, college searches as well. The NCAA for students who are thinking about being a student athlete, okay? The ACT.org for students who are taking or thinking about taking the ACT. Fastweb.com is a free scholarship website. So is scholarshipsonline.org. collegedata.com gives you really good college data, and it helps you understand what the college, the overview of the college. It will tell you about the financing of the college, how many students they have received financial aid, how much at an average they received. That's a really good website. It's free of charge. And if you need tutoring, Saturday School is available, K through 12 tutoring, and they even have a college and career center open for Saturday School. So if you have 11th and 12th grade students who need assistance, you can definitely look up the Saturday School. It's called Crash Course to College, and you will see some familiar faces in that on Saturdays. So these are opportunities for your children to get the best quality education. And if they're, kind of struggling in any of their academics, they will be able to receive tutoring. And SAT, ACT prep is also available through Saturday School. All right. Okay. And I am going to stop sharing and answer all of the questions that you have put in the chat. And if you haven't put them in there yet, you can put them in there now. We are opening it up to the chat and just let me hear them, and we'll answer them as they come in.
Ms. Hammond Davis, one question was, are the transcripts reported by quarter or semester?
So the transcripts are going to be recorded by semester. So there will be 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade on there, right? And then when the student gets into their 12th grade year, about this time, they will receive their 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, and then their 12th grade first semester will be on their transcript around this time of year when they're a senior.
We're still waiting for additional questions.
Okay.
Ms. Hammond Davis, you mentioned community service and opportunities there. Are there scholarships related to community service?
Yes, there are. Now, the colleges will, there may be some scholarships specifically that will ask, what are you doing in your community? So say, for example, there may be a sorority or fraternity that has a question that says, please tell us what you're doing in your community. When you are looking, when college representatives are looking at the college, at the transcript, they're going to look for a particular community services as well, and you may receive a scholarship based on that as well. So yes, there are community service scholarships available. It may be from a specific organization that wants to know what you've done in your community service and provide you with money based on that.
Okay, thank you. Another question, how does Saturday school tutoring work?
So Saturday School, you will go to the website saturdayschool.org. They do have tutoring available for K through 12. It opens, it's already open now for this semester. This is our second week, I think. So next week will be our third week, okay? So they have English, math, science. When you go on the website, you can see the different things to sign up for, and the SAT, ACT prep is also available for students as well. Saturday School for college and career is open for 11th grade and 12th grade at this time. So when you go on the site, you will be able to see how to register. And if you need more questions, there are people who can answer the questions for you as well.
Okay, thank you. Next question. How do we see what scholarships are out there, and how do we apply and can get started? Can you get started in 11th grade?
So let me tell you, your scholarship planning has already started when you step foot in the door in your 9th grade year. So your academics, the things that you are doing through school, are already setting you up for hopefully some really good scholarships at the college. There are scholarship websites that we showed you a few minutes ago. They're national websites that you can go ahead and apply, like the fastweb.com. You can also reach out to your college and career center, your CCIC, who runs that college and career center. They can give you information about scholarships as well. But make sure that you are doing your due diligence and looking at national websites for scholarships that are available to you.
How about grants, and how are those different than scholarships? So, and how do we find grants?
Okay, so grants are usually given by the college, or they're given by the state, or they're given by the federal government by you applying to the school and according to your income. So grants are normally for students who may have a lower income, or an income that the college believes may need a grant instead of a scholarship. So scholarships are sometimes for students who do not necessarily have a need, but they're giving the scholarship. Grants are usually given to students who may need extra support because their incomes are lower. But it depends on the particular college. And so there's state grants that are available. Say, for example, we have a guaranteed access grant from the state of Maryland for students whose family income is lower, and the state decides what that lower income is, and students could receive up to $19,000 or more in this grant called the Guaranteed Access Grant. So grants are usually for need-based. The scholarships are most of the time for the merit-based, where you don't necessarily have to have a need, but the college gives you the scholarship as well. Okay, and it could be a local organization that may give you a scholarship just based on applying.
Okay, thank you. You've mentioned several times CCIC. Would you explain that, please?
So the CCIC, there is one at every high school in Montgomery County. We, because I'm a CCIC, are the College and Career Information Coordinator, and we run the College and Career Center at your school. We are the people who will bring those scholarships available to you via website. We will email you from time to time about specific college-related things. When colleges reach out to us to come and visit our school virtually, we will let you know who can attend and what time those can attend. So when you have a question about college or careers, you would reach out to your College and Career Information Coordinator, sometime also known as your CCIC, the person who runs the College and Career Center at your high school. I'm at Wheaton High School. Miss Somerville is at Clarksburg. I think Miss Nicole Burkhalter is at Damascus. And there's quite a few of us here today somewhere. But yes, there's one at every high school. So I always get this question about the FAFSA form and who fills it out. So let me just say it's the student who's a high school senior, and then it's one parent. So if you're a two-parent household, you choose the parent who will fill out the form, because the other parent's information will go on the FAFSA form, as well. If you are divorced, the person who the student lives 51% of the time will complete the FAFSA form. And then the person who is outside of the home will not complete a FAFSA form. However, there is another financial aid form that we haven't talked about today, but I'll bring it up now. It's called the Css Profile, and that is used by a lot of our private colleges, and they will ask for the information of the parent that the student lives with, and they will also ask for this form called the non-custodial parent. They will want that form completed as well. Okay, so let's just start let me talk about COVID. So because of this economic crisis, and I mentioned in the presentation that a lot of people are out of work due to, COVID-19. If your finances, this is for my seniors, if I have any seniors, and if I have any 11th grade students as well, there may be you may have to explain your finances to the colleges, because if you're a 12th grade student, you filled out the FAFSA form using your 2019 taxes, right? But we're in 2021. So what you made in 2019 may not be what you made in 2020 and 2021. So there is something called a professional judgment that can happen at the college if you have a special circumstance. And the extenuating or special circumstance could be that you are no longer employed. You may have to show documentation and all of that to the financial aid office so they can get a picture of what your finances look like today. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is 11:30, and I believe this is over. I'm not sure if it's what time is it? Is it 12?
Let me check.
So I think we have time. We still have a little time if you would like to answer any questions. If not, feel free to join other workshops as well, but I should be here for another 15 minutes or so.
Ms. Hammond Davis, there's one question that came to me directly in the chat.
Yeah.
For the FAFSA form, do you have to make a certain income to qualify for FAFSA? So there might be some confusion about what FAFSA is.
Okay, so the FAFSA form is the free application for federal student aid. And every student and parent or family who's going to college needs to fill this form out during the child's senior year. And you fill this form out to see if you will receive any federal monies, in some cases state monies as well, and in some cases monies that are coming from your senator, delegates, or elected officials. So the FAFSA should be filled out by students who are going to college. Even if you feel like you don't necessarily have a need, I would definitely say fill it out anyway. So again, it's for the senior who's going to college. The parents will fill out the information with their taxes, and they may ask for some information on their W-2s. If students are working, they will also ask for information of the student. So this is going to give the colleges an idea of what families can pay, of what they need help with as far as assistance financially, and how they can help you financially. So hopefully I explained that okay?
You did. You've talked about applying for the FAFSA your senior year in high school. Is that the only time I have to apply?
Good question. So you will apply for at your senior year, and every year after that you are in college. So every year you're in college, you are going to fill out this FAFSA form again. Great question.
But what if my family, as a student, I'm undocumented and I'm not able to complete the federal form?
Okay, so then there's a state form, that MISFA form that we talked about. You will work with the College and Career Center at your school to help you fill out this particular form. And then we also have an additional resource called the Educational Opportunity Center that's free of charge to all families in the state of Maryland, in Montgomery County. The Educational Opportunity Center that's located within Montgomery College, they will help you fill out the FAFSA, they will help you fill out the MISFA, and so there is money available for students who live in the state and may not qualify to fill out the FAFSA form. There's documentation that's needed, there's some forms that's also needed, financial forms as well. So yes, there may be money still available.
Another question. What if, as a family, we have saved money for our child's education? Does that affect the FAFSA in any way?
So the FAFSA does have questions that will say, how much do you have in your savings or checking account today? It will also say how much is on line item, whatever. That might be what you have contributed to your IRA or your Roth, or if you have a 529, it will ask you how much is in the 529. Now, they're only going to take a certain amount of that in consideration, 5.64%. Okay, they will come up with a figure and then they'll times it by 5.64%. So let's just say if you have $10,000 in there, only 5.64% is going to be added to your expected family contribution.
Okay. What if you have a senior who has met all their requirements for graduation and they decide their senior year that they would like to have a half-day schedule? How would that affect the college application?
So I'm so glad you brought this up, because I was on a call with a college representative a couple of days ago. And well, he was a former college admissions representative, and he was sharing his 30 years of knowledge with us. When the students' transcripts come into the school, they are looking at the rigor of the classes. What classes did they take? Okay. What classes were available for them to take? They will look at the school's profile. There is a profile that the high schools will send to say, here are all the courses that the students could have taken while here at our school. Now, what colleges really do not like to see is, say, for example, now a lot of our students applied in November to college. Some of them have already received acceptances. Okay, so they've already been accepted. Then all of a sudden, they want to change their classes to a half-day schedule. Well, the college has accepted you because of what you have shown them on your transcript. If you change that, that may, in some cases, change the decision of the school, because they have conditionally accepted you into the college. You remember when I showed you Dennis's information, we had Dennis, and I put in there that Dennis had decided that he had done enough math and he took math out of his senior year. That is a no-no for colleges. They want to see, regardless of the high school requirement, that you have continued with math throughout your senior year, because that means that you are going into college without a year of math. So they don't look too well at abbreviated schedules unless it can be explained, where you are in an internship at NIH, or you're doing something that's going to be on track, that's going to help you with, going to college. Or there is a significant need for financing in your family. Someone has lost their job and you have to go to work for that family. Those things can be explained. But just to have an abbreviated schedule, just to have it, no, not a good thing.
Thank you. Well, we've talked a lot about seniors. What about, I'm in 10th grade and I have 2 years before I have to think about college. What do I need to do to prepare myself 9th, 10th, 11th grade?
Very good question. Remember, I said that your transcript starts the first day of 9th grade. All right. It's very important for you and your family to meet with your counselors to make sure that you are taking the right courses to fit you. All right. And if you can challenge yourself in courses like honors, AP, IB, even dual enrollment, where you're going to high school part-time and then taking some classes at Montgomery College, according to your strengths, this is what is going to help you in your 10th grade, your 9th grade year, your 10th grade year, 11th and 12th. So every year, the colleges are going to see what you have done in that particular year. Again, what you could have taken and what you are taking in your 10th grade year. So it's going to be very important for you to continue doing well in school, challenging yourself with rigorous courses, okay? Talking with your counselors and your teachers, making sure that you are getting assistance in anything that you are struggling in, making sure that you are getting involved in something in your community, or, we're in COVID, so, you have to be a little bit creative now because, we can't go out like we used to, but there are some activities that you may be able to do. Check with your student service learning coordinator at your school to see what's available, and just make sure that you are doing some type of extracurricular activity, because this is what the colleges are looking for. Yes, they're looking for great grades, but they're also looking for extracurricular activities, community service, things you are doing outside of the classroom.
Wonderful. Another question. When does standardized testing begin for high school students? Is it my junior year, or when should I start participating in the testing process?
So in Montgomery County, we always have a some type of testing for SAT, ACT, starting in 9th grade. Even if it's a mock test, ACT, or a mock test, SAT, for 9th grade. And then 10th grade, I believe we have in the past paid for our students to take the PSAT. That's like the preliminary SAT test. Okay. So what that does, it helps us try to figure out where you are strong, where you are weak, and how we can help you with both. Okay, so 9th grade, you could have that mock test. 10th grade is the practice, the PSAT. All right. And then 11th grade is the PSAT for the National Merit Qualifier. That's an important one. So students will take this test to see if they qualify for the National Merit Scholarship. All right. And then the 12th grade or 11th grade in the spring or in the summer, our students are starting to take the SAT. All right. And then 12th grade, some of the students will take the SAT again in the fall if they are not happy with the scores that they've taken in 11th grade. So there is prep. Again, for the SAT, there is prep for the ACT. Check with your college and career information coordinator and your counselor, and they can give you information about that.
Okay. We have another question from the chat.
Okay.
Does soccer count as an extracurricular activity?
Yes, right?
Yes.
Sports? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. So you can put, yes, soccer on that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in addition to athletics, it also demonstrates your ability to balance your academics while honing other skills in other areas of your life, especially leadership.
Absolutely. You see, I think one of the students who we talked about earlier when we were deciding who gets the last 2 slots, one of those students was a very good soccer player. He also had really good grades, and he was being, the colleges were looking at him for recruitment. so that it could, happen where, colleges will start looking at you, or you can reach out to the colleges as well via email. Your coaches can reach out to them as well if they feel that you have what it takes to be a student athlete on the collegiate level.
Any other questions that we can answer for you?
All right. Well, I know we have another 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes. So if you think of something, you can just throw them out there. We're going to continue to stay here because, there may be a question that comes up. So we are here.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is Saturday school only for students who may be falling behind in their grades? Is there another reason that I should attend Saturday schools?
Absolutely. I think that students who are, doing well can still attend Saturday school to excel. All right, to do better, or, to get to go ahead of the game, to do more than what they're doing. They could go to the extra chapter. So yeah, definitely they can excel. We call it tutoring, but they can definitely excel. And the Saturday school, they're always looking for students to tutor younger students. So it could be a way that students who are looking for community service could also join Saturday school as one of those students who will be able to tutor where they're in their strengths.
Okay.
They're always looking for. Oh, and if you are part of Saturday school, you can apply in your senior year for the Saturday school scholarships.
Absolutely.
So there are pluses.
And this will be our final question. Is the CCIC available online at each school? And can we get in touch with them if we are still in 11th grade?
Yes. You can get in touch with them. They should have their email addresses on their websites for you to reach out to them. And 11th grade students, I would definitely say it is time now to get in touch with your college and career center, because we do have programs that will be starting very soon, probably in the spring, in a couple of months, that we will go through a whole lot of information, how to write that essay, brainstorming, college searches, what college best fits you. We will have speakers who come in, and in the summer, college and career information coordinators, we CCICs, we work all year round. Yes, we do. And so we are here in the summer. In the summertime is the best time for us to get with those 11th grade students, work on those brainstorming essays, get that draft together, figure out where they're applying, because in August, a lot of the colleges open up their applications for students to start applying. And let me tell you, it is going to be very important for the student to start in the summer if they are thinking about applying to a college that has a deadline of November 1st or October 15th, because when school starts in September, you hit the ground running. And you won't have time that you have in the summer to think about that essay or whatever. So if you spend a little time with us in the summer, you will be ready to hit that acceptance button for November 1st. You'll be ready to hit it in mid-October. Happens every year. So yes, we are here. We are available. Seems like we never sleep, but We are here for our students.
And we would also like to encourage our 9th and 10th graders too to start engaging with your CCIC. That gives us an additional time to plan, as well as sharing with you the breadth of options that are available through MCPS. So we like to encourage everyone to make that connection early.
Right. And one more thing about the Naviance system. We have this Naviance system. Your students were probably introduced to it in their middle school years. But in 9th grade, we CCICs will work with students throughout the year in certain lessons. So for example, 9th grade, we will work with students on a career interest survey. That career interest survey may be picked up in the 10th grade to talk about the career path, what you're thinking about doing. Those careers then could lead to majors that your student may be interested in. So the majors then in 11th grade could lead the student to the colleges that they're thinking about. This is all through their Naviance system. And then those colleges that they're thinking about, they may decide to actually apply. So in 10th grade, they'll move the thinking to applying to. And then when they get into the applying to area, they will request their transcripts and recommendation letters through their Naviance account. The teachers and the counselors and the registrar will send their documentation through Naviance to those schools that the students have chosen in their Naviance account. So Naviance is a really, really big thing as students get into the high school.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Hammond Davis.
You're welcome. So CCICs who are here, if you would like to say who you are and where you are and how they can get in touch with you. We have a couple on here, but remember, you can always look at the website to get in touch with the college and career person at your school.
And again, my name is Centania Somerville. I am the College and Career Coordinator, or CCIC, at Clarksburg High School. You can reach me utilizing our school webpage, and as well as looking at the counselor page. And the Career Center also has a website that has many of the resources that we've discussed here this morning, as well as scholarships.
All right. And I know Nicole is working 2 rooms at the same time, but Nicole Burkhalter.
Sorry.
Oh, hi.
I'm here.
Okay.
I think someone cut my video off. I can't get it back on. But hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Burkhalter. I am the CCIC at Damascus High School. So I work with juniors and seniors, freshmen and sophomores as well at Damascus. And I don't know if I recognize any students here today, but I know some of my students are visiting various workshops. So it's nice to be here with you all. All the information that Ms. Somerville and Ms. Hammond Davis have provided are super helpful, accurate, and I provide those same services and information at Damascus. So thank you both for doing this.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for attending. It has been a pleasure to serve you today. Hopefully something that we have said has helped you. Again, if you have any questions after today, reach out to that College and Career Information Coordinator at your high school. Thank you so much.
Historically Black Colleges and Universities Divine 9 panel discussion, educating the leaders of tomorrow. For today, we'll be talking about how many of our historically Black colleges and universities have developed great leaders in many different fields. All right, today's Divine Nine panel discussion is sponsored by the Brothers of Mighty Mu chapter of Montgomery County, Maryland, an unincorporated affiliate of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, Incorporated. For today, we'll be following the agenda that you see on the screen. We will have opening remarks, followed by moderator and panelist introduction. And then we will move into 3 segments for our panel discussion. Segment 1, the relevancy of an HBCU. Segment 2, benefits of attending an HBCU. Segment 3, HBCU pride. And then we will finish with some Q&A, followed by closing remarks. Again, good afternoon, MCPS staff, students, parents, and community organizations. Welcome again to the 13th Annual MCPS HBCU College Fair. My name is Dr. Lorenzo Perlman, and I will be serving as the moderator for this afternoon's HBCU panel discussion, which will attempt to highlight for audience members the advantages of attending historically Black colleges and universities. Let me first give you a brief overview again of today, which will involve all of the items we talked about in our agenda. Again, for those who weren't here, we will begin with the panel discussion by giving again a brief history of historically Black colleges and universities. We'll transition to moderator and panel member introductions. Following the panel discussion, again, we will have a brief Q&A session for our audience members, and then we will finally close out the afternoon with closing remarks and acknowledgements. All right, brief history of HBCU. HBCU stands for Black colleges and universities. Before the Civil War, higher education for Black people was virtually non-existent. Newly freed slaves were being denied admission to the traditionally white higher education institutions that had been established at the time. A solution came with the Second Morrell Land Grant of 1890, which indicated that states who wanted to use federal land grant funds were required to either make their schools open to Blacks and whites or give money for segregated Black colleges to function as substitute for white schools. Eventually, 16 entirely Black colleges were given land grant funds. Several HBCUs had already been founded at this time, such as Cheney University of Pennsylvania in 1837, University of the District of Columbia 1851, and Hairston University 1857. In Title III of the Higher Education Act of 1865, Congress officially defined an HBCU as a school of higher learning that was accredited and established before 1964, and whose principal mission was the education of African Americans. Since then, HBCUs have grown both in funding and size, enhancing equal opportunity and educational rights for all students. All right, before we get started with our panel discussion, I'm going to briefly provide a few words to let you know a little bit about myself, and then we'll move on to our panelist introductions. I'm a proud graduate of Bowie State University, where I earned a bachelor's degree in history and a master's degree in education. I'm also a proud graduate of Howard University, where I earned my doctorate degree in educational leadership. I'm a member of the greatest fraternity in the world, the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, Incorporated. I'm also a 25-year educator, serving students and families of MCPS as a teacher, mentor, and administrator. My current place of employment within MCPS is at Francis Scott Key Middle School, where I serve as an assistant principal. Now, I would like to introduce our guest panelists for this afternoon's MCPS HBCU panel discussion. All right, each of our panelists, they will provide their name, HBCU affiliation, fraternity or sorority affiliation, and any highlights from the professional or academic career they would like to share. All right, we will start with the first panelist, Mr. Walter Nabors.
Thank you, Dr. Perlman. Good morning, everyone. My name is Walter Nabors. I attended the Hampton University, founded on April 1st, 1868 in Hampton, Virginia. I'm a member of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity via MU chapter, which has been serving Montgomery County since 1970. So we have over 50 years of service in the community. I'm a practicing member of the Maryland State Bar, District of Columbia Bar, Federal Bar, and the United States Supreme Court. My practice is focused on criminal personal injury as well as estate work. I'm honored to be a part of this panel, and thank you for inviting me.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nabors. All right, Ms. Tiffany Nabors. Ms. Tiffany Nabors, you can panelist too.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Nabors. I am a graduate of Virginia State University, and I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and I pledged at Virginia State University. I am currently the owner of a company called Winnasium.
All right, thank you, Ms. Nabors. Mrs. Nabors. Mr. Stacy Herring.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Perlman. My name is Stacy Herring, and I'm a proud graduate of Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Georgia, home of the drumline. I also hold degrees from Georgia Tech and also from the University of Maryland University College. I'm also a proud member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, serving here through MU chapter in Montgomery County since 1970. And professionally, I have been a computer engineer for over 20 plus years. And another personal note, I was recognized this year by the Black Engineer of the Year Award as a modern day technology leader. Thank you.
All right, excellent, Mr. Herring. All right, Ms. Christina Putman.
Good afternoon. I'm Christina Putman. I am a graduate of Kentucky State University, spring '99, in which I became a member of the illustrious sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated, spring '98. Currently, I am the MCPS secondary math supervisor, supporting middle schools and high schools with mathematics. And I have over 20 years experience in education, serving in Detroit, Michigan, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and MCPS.
All right, that's excellent. All right, Dr. Stacy Atkins.
Thank you, Dr. Perlman. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Stacy Atkins. I am a proud alumni of both the University of the District of Columbia as well as Howard University. I have been in uniformed services for over 20 plus years. I recently retired in April of 2020. I am a current member of the illustrious ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated here in Montgomery County. I am a member of the Xi Sigma Omega chapter, which in 1983 became the second chapter serving here in Montgomery County.
All right, thank you for sharing, Dr. Atkins. All right, Ms. Linda Curry. All right, Ms. Linda Curry. Do we have Ms. Linda Curry on?
Sorry, I was on mute. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Linda Curry, and I am a proud graduate of both Tennessee State University and Clark Atlanta University, where I earned my criminal justice degree and an MPA in public administration and human resource management. I have over 20 years of management and consulting experience in the private and public sectors, and I've currently serve on numerous boards right now. And I am a proud member of the distinguished Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Currently, I am a consultant with the DC Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Curry. All right, Dr. Thea Mitchell-Anderson.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Theo Mitchell-Anderson. I am a graduate of Temple University, Bowie State University, and Howard University. I have been an educator in Montgomery County Public Schools for over 25 years as a teacher, staff development teacher, and an administrator. And I too am a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta.
All right, great to have you this afternoon. Do we have Dr. Dwayne Rice on? Dr. Dwayne Ross, do we have Dr. Dwayne Ross on the call? All right, we're gonna move on to Miss Rita Smith. Miss Rita Smith.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rita Brown Smith, and I did my undergraduate studies at St. Augustine's College in Raleigh, North Carolina. I went on to do my graduate work at another HBCU, North Carolina Central University in Durham, North Carolina. I'm a proud member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, last created, best designed. I'm currently the Sergeant at Arms of Excellence through Eta Theta Sigma chapter in Montgomery County, and I'm an administrator and an instructional coach in Prince George's County Public School. I'm so glad to be here in Montgomery County.
All right, thank you. All right, Miss Melissa Brunson.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Melissa Brunson. I'm a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Like Ms. Smith, I'm a part of Eta Theta Sigma chapter right here, Silver Spring of Montgomery County, in Montgomery County. I am a doctoral alumni of Bowie State University in Maryland and have been a current employee of Montgomery County Schools for over 20 years, serving in my ultimate roles of being a principal for about 12 years, and then now working in central office. I'm glad to be here as well.
All right, thank you, Dr. Brunson. All right, Mr. Jonathan Hairston.
For whatever reason, my video says it's not allowed to start, but good afternoon. My name is Brother Jonathan Hairston. I am a graduate from the home of the greatest homecoming on earth, North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. I think we've got, sorry about that. Yeah, so home of, again, like I said, the greatest homecoming on earth, North Carolina A&T. I am a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I am a member of the Tri Sigma chapter here in Montgomery County. And I currently am a DoD contractor. I've spent time in the military. I've traveled the world, done a lot of great things. And I'm glad to be here this afternoon with you all.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Victor Taylor.
Hello, my name is Victor Taylor. I graduated from Prairie View A&M University in Texas back in 2008. I also became a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated in fall 2005. After I graduated, I went up to North Texas University, where I received my PhD in biomedical science, concentrating in structural anatomy. I did my postdoc at Wake Forest University for 3 years, and now I am an assistant professor at George Washington University Medical School, where I teach anatomy and embryology.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Now we have Mr. Charlie Sears. Mr. Charlie Sears, are you on with us? All right, let's go to Mr. Julian Taylor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me as part of this. I'm a proud alum of Tennessee State University. I graduated in 1987. I am a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, where I was initiated at Tennessee State University, where my father is part
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charlie Sears. I am a graduate of Tennessee State University. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Mr. Sears. Go ahead, Mr. Sears. We'll come back to you, Mr. Taylor.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Sears.
Okay, I'm hearing feedback though.
You might need to mute.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go to Mr. Julian Taylor. Sorry about that, Mr. Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Brother Sears, put your phone on mute. We can hear you, sir.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Julian Taylor.
Yes. So my name again is Julian Taylor. I'm a proud graduate of Tennessee State University. I graduated
I'm trying to start my video.
All right, Mr. Sears, go ahead and put your phone on mute, and then we will get back with you because we're on live broadcasting. All right, Mr. Teller, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Not a problem. I am a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I currently serve as the Business Development Manager for the Mid-Atlantic for Allied Universal Security, where I am also the company's liaison for the HBCU LEEA, which is the Law Enforcement Leadership Association. So I'm their national representative and liaison for that as well. I currently sit on multiple boards, Safety Coalition boards here in Baltimore, as well as I sit on the Emergency Preparedness Committee as the co-chairman for the Building Owners Association here in Baltimore as well. I am a member of Falls Road AME Church, and I'm thankful for being here today.
All right, thank you. And thank you to all the panelists who have joined us this afternoon. All right, we also want to say thank you to members of the IT team for their support with this workshop session as well. All right, just a reminder for our panelists today, we want to use the raise your hand feature to respond to a question or make a general comment. All right, so make sure you please, again, use the raise your hand feature. All right, so we're going to get right into the panel discussion with segment one. In segment one, the topic is the relevancy of an HBCU. And so the first question we have today, we ask, which HBCU did you attend and who or what inspired you to attend your alma mater? All right, so we're going to start with Mr. Walter Nabors. Mr. Walter Nabors.
Thank you, Dr. Perlman. I attended Hampton University, and oddly enough, I was recruited to play football, and one of the schools that I was recruited at was a Catholic university. When I was sitting down with the Dean of Admissions, he asked me why I was attending Catholic University. When I told him all of the reasons that I was looking for in a college, he told me that I was at the wrong school. Oddly enough, and it was very transparent, very candid of him to tell me that you might want to consider an HBCU. In fact, you might want to consider Hampton University. Now, growing up in Montgomery County, I attended Winston Churchill Senior High, and it was a fantastic school system, but it didn't really give me all of the things I think I was looking for in an education. Now, it worked out well because my parents both attended Virginia State University. My grandfather and aunts had attended Hampton University. And after my wife did some research, come find out my great-grandparents attended Hampton University. So I can honestly tell you it was the recruiter that told me, based upon what not my needs were, that HBCU, specifically Hampton University at that time, Hampton Institute, would be the ideal school for me.
All right, excellent. Thank you for sharing. All right, next we have Dr. Stacy Atkins.
Thank you, Dr. Perlman. Yes, as earlier stated, I had the privilege of attending both the University of the District of Columbia and Howard University, and graduating from both universities. I was inspired by my grandfather, who was a Howard alumni before myself, and two aunts and a cousin. And so it was no question that I was going to go to Howard. In addition, my godmother, bless her soul now, she's resting in heaven, was the dean of the School of Communications at Howard University for many years. And I have a cousin who is still the dean of the School of Dentistry. So there was no question about whether or not I was going to go to Howard University or not. I think that the reason that I wanted to go also is because I attended a predominantly white high school here in Maryland, and I was not treated so well. And so we'll talk more about that as we get on in the segment through some of the other questions. But I definitely think that Howard was the right choice for me, as well as the University of the District of Columbia.
All right, excellent. All right, thank you for sharing. All right, Ms. Rita Smith.
Yes, so similarly to Dr. Atkins, I was a legacy of my the college that I attended, St. Augustine's, which is now university. It was St. Augustine's College. So I'm the youngest of 6 siblings, and my oldest sister was the first to attend St. Augustine's. At the time, it was college, back in 1972, followed by another sister, both my brothers, another sister. And so for me, again, growing up with that legacy and going to the campus and going to homecomings, and also they were my sorors, seeing them and the work that they were doing at the college when it came my time to go, no doubt that was my number one choice.
All right.
But my daughter did not go to St. Augustine's, but she did go. She is attending an HBCU. She attends Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. Dr. Theo Mitchell-Anderson.
Thank you. My road to an HBCU is much like many of the other panelists. Most of my family members attended HBCUs. My parents went to Fisk, where they met and subsequently married, are still married. And my grandfather and my aunt went to Hampton Institute at the time, Hampton University now. And my uncle went to North Carolina A&T. So, and that's where my daughter will be going in the fall. So it was a legacy, and it was kind of all I knew. I went to Hampton University, subsequently transferred and graduated from Temple University, but missed my HBCU experience that I had at Hampton, and later attended Bowie State for my master's, and was able to get back that brotherhood and sisterhood that I really longed for again, and then returning to Howard University, where I met you and several others, and were able to form the additional bonds, because there's really nothing like it. So those were some of the things that inspired me.
Yes, thank you for sharing. All right, we have Ms. Tiffany Nabors.
Hi, everyone. I was inspired for 3 reasons to go to Virginia State, which is, again, my alma mater. I went there and graduated in 1994. My brother was already present at the university, so I spent a lot of time on campus before that. Our family, like many of the other panelists, were all members of HBCUs. My parents met at Norfolk State University, and both were Greek. My mom's an AKA, and my father is an Omega. All of my uncles on my father's side and aunts went to Norfolk State. My aunt was Miss Norfolk State University, and my grandfather went to Virginia Union. So my entire family went to a variety of universities, a few of which I've named. I also was inspired to go to an HBCU because my high school years were in a predominantly white high school, and I enjoyed the experience that I saw all throughout my life inside of visiting different HBCUs. And one thing I forgot to mention too, I was educated in nursery school at an HBCU, Virginia Union University Nursery School.
All right, wow, interesting story there. All right, so next we have Mr. Hairston, Jonathan Hairston.
All right, well, why I chose to go to an HBCU. Well, I wanted to be a legacy starter. So I was the first to go to college in my family. And quite as it's kept, the tuition coming out of my pocket, it found best and easiest for me to attend something that I wanted to go to. Being grown up as a military brat, I traveled around the world, and I was in so many different regions within this country that when I got to the campus of A&T, it just felt like home. It felt like a place that I wanted to attend to find out more about where I come from and the decisions that I made. Not only for myself, but for my family, because I was not only representing, Jonathan, I was representing the Hairston name and the Hairston household. Again, choosing North Carolina A&T was difficult. There are more than, I think there's 6 schools within North Carolina, HBCUs. I got to travel around and see quite a few of them, and a lot has changed over the past 20 years since I've left. But I certainly appreciated the moment I walked on campus and just was received as family. joining a fraternity, going to the School of Business there, graduated with my degree in business administration with a concentration in marketing. It's just opened so many more doors for me that I would have never imagined happening if it had not been for a school like North Carolina A&T.
All right, thank you for sharing that great story. All right, Mr. Stacy Herring.
Yes, I want to pick up on something that Mr. Hairston just said a moment ago, which I found very, very interesting in the concept of how we live our lives. I, too, am also a military brat, and I'm a military brat that was predominantly raised overseas, as my father had a lot of international deployments. So I did not come back to the States really on a full-time basis until the end of 1987, 1988. And for everyone of that certain age period, you know exactly where I'm going. So 1987, 1988, a few fundamental things happened in media as far as how we're portrayed as in education. Number one, the iconic film by Spike Lee came out, School Days. Fundamental for someone of my stature who wasn't really familiar with HBCUs or colleges in general, coming stateside, I saw the movie School Days and it blew my mind. And then on top of that, I found out how School Days was filmed in the AU Center, and that is where the school, Morris Brown College, is in Atlanta in the AU Center. So School Days was very, very fundamental as far as my perception of what an HBCU was, what the life was, the things that I wanted. And then you follow that up with two other monumental TV programs. Cosby Show, whereas Bill Cosby always advertised HBCUs. Every single time you watch an episode, he would have this HBCU shirt on or this HBCU sweater. And then you follow that up with the other show, A Different World, which around the same time period showed a weekly depiction of HBCU life. And when I saw that, I knew that's where I wanted to go. Just to wrap it up, to show you the power of that presentation, my wife growing up, lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and she's seeing the exact same things I'm seeing. And she made it her point to go down to Atlanta to Morris Brown College to attend an HBCU off those same three things I mentioned from exposure, from Spike Lee's School Days to the Cosby Show to A Different World. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Herring. All right, so at this time, we're going to move to the next question for this segment. And this question, very important question to answer, and it states, what do you believe are some academic and social benefits of attending an HBCU? Please share your personal, let me go back one. All right, segment one. All right, so for relevancy, do you think there is still a need for historically Black colleges and universities in 21st century America? So this is a very important question, I think, for our audience members to hear from you as panelists. All right, we're gonna start, we're gonna start with Dr. Stacy Atkins.
Yes, I guess I'm on mute. I would most definitely think that there is still a need for historically Black colleges and universities here in what we should be in the 21st century, but I don't know, unless you've been living under a rock and watching what's been happening in the media. I think that we definitely need our historically Black colleges and universities to continue to shape the minds of our up and coming future leaders. I myself have two high school students that attend school here in Montgomery County. And sometimes I think that they're shielded or sheltered from what life is really like being African American. And I think that by attending an HBCU, you get the African diaspora, you get the step shows, you get the nurturing and intimate cultural development that I really believe that a lot of our children and young adults are missing right now in this 21st century.
Yeah, that is important. All right, Jonathan Hairston.
I would absolutely agree. And I would like to add on that it's important both within our social dynamic to maintain some sense of relevancy. I think a lot of times it gets lost just how important it is for us to maintain our level of education, to continue to feed back and to change the perception that a lot of times, especially the young Black males are given in society today, that it's very important that HBCUs are there and they're very welcoming and opening their time and energy, and the fact that you're just accepted. The moment you walk onto any HBCU campus, you're accepted because others are there like-minded. They want to do something better. They want to achieve something greater. And I think that it's very important that you have that sense of acceptance at an HBCU. And there's nothing against our PWIs out here, but even when you look at like sports, when athletics are a big component of going to college and choosing the school you go to, if we continue to increase awareness at HBCUs and we start getting athletes to go to our HBCUs, you'll start to see their names get as recognizable as an Alabama or a Clemson. I mean, you just take a look at what Jackson State is doing with Deion Sanders. It brings notoriety to our HBCUs. So I absolutely think that even in the 21st century and going forward, that is very vital that we continue to support.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hairston, for sharing that important point. All right, next we have Victor Taylor.
Yes, there still is a need for HBCUs. The biggest one is family and teamwork. I teach at a medical school. Vast majority of the students are coming from these predominantly white institutions. It can be very toxic. Teaching the medical students, they don't know teamwork. They always are competing with each other. When their true competition, and I try to tell them this, especially in anatomy, the true competition is outside of your institution. They may not even get that understanding at their predominantly white colleges because the colleges is so huge and professors may not be able to have time to work with you if you're struggling on something because they are teaching hundreds of students in a classroom. Some universities, I heard in Ohio State, where it goes up to 1,000, where they're teaching at the basketball arena. So you're able to get that, build that teamwork within that institution and realize what your true competition is out there. Because once you go out of the university and you're interviewing for your jobs, they're not just interviewing you, they're also interviewing the university as well. The next thing is, and I kind of elaborated on this earlier, is the professors there to help you out. There is a huge growing process once you go into a university. I would say the biggest challenge for the students is handling that growth, not so much of the education, but handling that growth once you move out your parents' home. HBCUs and small universities are able to care and nurture your growth, especially when you really need help from your professors, something that you may not get at a big university. And third is that once you get into your career and you move up into your career, you may not see a lot of people like yourself. I was before we hired our new faculty member, I was the only person teaching the first year medical students in basic science. Only Black person teaching them in medical science. When I go to my conferences, I'm the only Black male in my field. At HBCUs, you are around a ton of people who are trying to reach that same goal that you're trying to get. And you will build that support network that will help you reach that goal.
All right, excellent point, Mr. Teller. Ms. Tiffany Nabors.
Hi, yes, I definitely think that there's still a need for HBCUs. And I think the outcomes, if you look at the data, even as recent as this week, I saw on LinkedIn that the hiring rates for HBCU graduates exceeds all non-HBCU schools right now. And I think we can see, if we look at a lot of the actual performance outcomes of the alumni from HBCUs, we very often see some of the highest performing individuals that are graduates of HBCUs. I think to the point that other panelists have made as well is HBCUs provide you a unique opportunity to develop leadership track record, leadership skills that you may not have opportunities to do in a larger university, and one where maybe you're more invisible. I think that HBCUs allow you to be visible, and they allow you to create a cohort of peers within your same area of subject matter expertise, which I think is very important for future networking. My brother was a science major, and as a result of that, he has an entire peer group of other science folks to lean back on. And, that can go across the board for many majors. So those are a few of the reasons that I do believe that HBCUs create unique opportunities and are still relevant.
All right, again, thank you for sharing those thoughts. All right, so at this time, we're going to move to the next segment. All right, the benefits of attending an HBCU. All right, so for this question, we asked, what do you believe are some academic and social benefits of attending an HBCU? Please share your personal experience. And I'm sure many of our panelists have a lot of great stories to share around their academic and the social benefits of attending an HBCU. All right, this time we're going to begin with Mr. Victor Taylor.
As I mentioned before, the teamwork aspect, and the ones that I tried to preach to my first year medical students. Now as I mentioned, I teach anatomy. When we're in the anatomy lab, I showed them the human body. And I told them that every organ have their own specific function. But if they don't work together with the other body parts, then the whole body doesn't work. And that's the same thing with what you learn in HBCU is that teamwork aspect. If you're able to succeed, then what you do is that you put HBCUs on the map and you get other people interested in that HBCU so you could build a better network for the HBCUs. Another thing is that are the Black professors. I grew up, I believe I had, two black professors. I believe it's 2 Black professors. I didn't have any teachers in my high school, and I only saw a Black male professor once I got into college. Those male Black professors were the biggest inspiration for me, and also helped build my teaching style because of them.
All right, thank you for sharing. That is an important attribute for many of us of having someone that looks like us in these institutions of higher learning. All right, thank you for sharing, Mr. Teller. All right, Dr. Stacy Atkins.
Apologize, this technology. So for me, some of the benefits of attending the HBCU, they're just a plethora of them, but some of the ones that stand out to me the most are the fact that I was able to get a sense of identity. I was able to learn who I was as an African-American woman, and that, sometimes people kind of label us as being aggressive or bossy or things of that nature. And I was found that those were strengths that I had, and such that I was actually at both universities, I had leadership positions. At Howard University, I was the president of our school. At the University of the District of Columbia, I was the student representative on the board of trustees. And all of these experiences were outstanding because they taught me leadership leadership skills, and the professors, as well as the others that were in leadership roles, they kind of brought me alongside and groomed me so that I was able to feel better about my self-worth and who I was. Some of the other really great experiences that I had is that I created a bond of lasting friendships with individuals that I met, sort of like the other panelists said, where you have a cohort of individuals that are like-minded. I am still, I'm not gonna say, because people say I look young, so I'm not gonna tell you how long ago that was, but it's been a long time ago, and I'm still in some lifetime friendships with people that I met, back in the 80s, as well as I had an opportunity to become a part of a community. And so within that community, we have alumni associations, and I'm very actively involved even to this day in those alumni associations. I still know some of the professors. It was really sort of like a family for me. So I think that attending an HBCU does help you grow and help you mature into that individual that you ultimately are just, don't know who you want to be when you hit the campus, but by the time you leave, you have a whole sense of self. So that was my takeaway and benefit.
All right, great. Thank you for sharing that. All right, next we have Ms. Thea Mitchell-Anderson. Dr. Thea Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell-Anderson.
Hi. I have to echo the other panelists. Some of the most important benefits is that it really does allow students, and it allowed me to find my voice, to see my worth. When you go, for instance, Hampton University, and you go into the museum and you see the artwork and you read about your history and learn about your history, but not only just learn about it, but you're experiencing the history of your people, it makes a difference. And your shoulders, you pick up your shoulders and you do have more of a self-worth and an understanding of how my culture, my family contributed to this country and benefited this country as well. And that makes a huge difference. And secondly, from an educator standpoint, working with so many students who often struggle within Montgomery County to find their voice and to see themselves in education, attending an HBCU really does provide the academic and social supports that a student sometimes requires to find their academic identity and voice and to become a leader. And it nurtures that in many of our students, where you might have been a student who really floundered and struggled, which doesn't mean that you were a poor student. That particular academic setting may not have been the one that was best for you. But then you attend an HBCU, and then here's this leader who blossoms and flourishes, and you see it all the time. So an HBCU really does offer that opportunity and nourishes and nurtures a student so that they can find their voice and who they are in their self-worth.
All right, thank you for sharing. All right, Mr. Walter Nabors.
Thank you, Dr. Perlman. Well, first and foremost, I personally experienced and I think Ms. Thea Mitchell will attest to the motto of our university. Hampton is known as the home by the sea, and it means exactly that. It is a home away from home. And what I found immediately was that the student body, the upperclassmen, we have student leaders. So the second you come into the school, there are student leaders, upperclassmen, that formalize small groups to orient you to the school. That's something I had never seen before. Again, I attended Winston Churchill Senior High. It was a very aggressive, educationally focused school in Montgomery County, as you all know. And I think 96% of the class graduating class went to college. But I can tell you at University of Maryland, I would have been in a classroom with 500 people. At the Home by the Sea, I was in classrooms of 20 students. For someone like me, that meant I got individual attention. If I wanted to raise my hand, if I wanted to talk to the teacher, I could talk to the teacher after class. If I wanted to, interact with the other students and form study groups, it was easier to do so because, again, it was a smaller setting, it was a familiar setting, There were job fairs available to the students who were rising seniors. And when it was time for me to graduate and go to law school, they were kind enough to provide me with scholarship money to go to law school. That was very impactful for me and very essential. And I'd just like to touch on is it still relevant? If you look at the reasons that these HBCUs were founded back in the 1860s based upon the division of the country, I ask you, just as Black Lives Matter today, Black education matters still today. Thank you.
All right, excellent point, Mr. Nabors. All right, next we have Dr. Dwayne Ross. Welcome. You're on mute, Dr. Ross.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Dr. Perlman. In listening to all of the responses, I don't know that I could add anything any differently. I think for me, there's a sense of emotional safety that comes with being with your own people. And that's not to disparage or say anything, that is not affirmative about someone else, but there is a sense of safety and comfort that you give an enhanced sense of pride. One of the things that I heard Dr. Mitchell say so eloquently was that, your shoulders are kind of a little bit elevated. And I think that's because we are in an educational system right now that really does not prosecute the truth. And so we're living in a time when we're not able to really understand some really, really awful and ugly things that have happened in this country. And I cannot imagine since, the inception of HBCUs, a more prescient time for our students to feel emotionally safe. And I think that emotional safety will translate into academic success. On the other, from the other perspective of the social benefits, I mean, it's incredible. There's nothing like it. Very quickly, my sister attended Howard University, and I went to a small school in the South. And she said, "Why don't you come on up for homecoming?" And I was there on that beautiful campus at homecoming. I'd never seen anything like it before in my life, and it was the best decision that I have ever made. Didn't graduate from Howard until a couple of years ago with Dr. Perlman and Dr. Anderson in the doctoral program, but what a magnificent experience it was.
All right, excellent. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Ross. Ms. Tiffany Nabors.
I kind of echo what everyone said, but one thing I'll say is that not all HBCUs are created the same, and so they all do have their own personalities, and I think it's important to consider that socially and academically when you choose an HBCU as well. There are certain schools who have very strong majors and very strong specialties, and I think there are also certain schools that have certain cultures that are a better fit for certain people, and so I do think that those are very important, but it's also equally important to understand that each HBCU has its own personality and its own programming in certain areas. My HBCU is a very strong major for education, a very strong institution for education majors, amongst other majors, but they have very strong outcomes with educators. And so, you look at Howard, with their law, their business school, FAMU, it's very important to kind of take those things into account as well.
All right, thank you for sharing. All right, next we have Ms. Rita Smith.
So what I'm going to share is not my own personal experience, but rather this experience of my son. So I shared earlier that my daughter is at a HBCU, Johnson C. Smith in Charlotte. However, my son chose to go to a PWI. So he attends Shawan University in Murfreesboro, North Carolina. He's there on a football scholarship. And 3 months in fall semester, he said, I hate it here. And I said, well, why? It's free. You get food, you're safe. Why? He said, and I think one of the panelists mentioned earlier, he said it doesn't feel like family. And he absolutely had it in his mind when he came home for winter that he was going to transfer. And I said, I'm going to support you in it once. Where would you like to go? He said, oh, I've already talked to the track coach at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I've already filled out my application. Mommy, I'm good to go. He was like, I'm going to an HBCU. And so just the flip side of that experience for him, he is a graduate of Prince George's County Public School. So he's always been comforted. He's always seen positive Black male roles, not only in our home with his father, but in the school system. And so for him, wanting to go to a PWI, choosing to go to a PWI, thinking I need some diversity, he found that that's not what he needed. What he needed is what he knew, which was family, which was feeling like he belonged. And I'm just going to say to the younger viewers, it's nothing like a HBCU homecoming. Nothing like it at all.
All right, thank you for sharing, Ms. Smith. I think we all would concur with you with that statement. All right, Ms. Linda Curry.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is that an HBCU gives students a chance. They're going to take a chance on that C student. And by the time that they come out, you have professors there, especially at Tennessee State, that are really going to push you. So by the time you come out, you may have come in as that C student, that student that didn't think that you would achieve anything. And by the time you come out, you have found your voice, as some of the other panelists have said. Teachers push you. My own personal experience is a professor taking me to the side and said, what are you doing? Your mom and daddy did not send you here, paying money for you not to take this seriously. You're going to get that type of a professor taking that time to actually talk to you. And I've had the experience of both worlds, because after I left Tennessee State, I attended the Ohio State University. And it was a culture shock in terms of being in a huge class and just not feeling that family whatsoever. No one's speaking to you when you walking to your next class. So it's a very different experience. And that social bond that you get, I don't care where you go to, if you encounter another person and they say, I went to an HBCU, you light up. You have that, you have something in common with that person. So it's a very enriching experience to attend an HBCU.
All right, thank you for sharing. Mm-hmm. All right, Dr. Brunson.
Hi, everyone. So my personal experience, my schooling experience was in predominantly white institutions for my undergrad and graduate. And I will tell you, I really had some wonderful experiences, but there were definitely some challenges being a minority student in those institutions. I actually felt invisible at times. And that support kind of wanes when you go from undergrad to grad. So, moving to a doctorate, you would think you would get less. When I moved from New Jersey to Maryland and then went to get my master's at Notre Dame and then eventually my doctorate at Bowie, there is definitely a feeling in Maryland amongst a lot of people who have gone to HBCUs. And I was feeling like, man, I was ever so slighted that I didn't get that opportunity. So I did choose a doctoral school through Bowie. And I got to tell you, as a doctoral student, and again, you would think that you would get less of that close personal support. It was totally the opposite. I worked with professors who were encouraged community and personal and gave me one-to-one support. And they were super over the top dedicated to my achievement and success. So, you know, I was able to acquire, refine, and develop new skills, especially in the realm of research and in leadership. So I can attest to the differences. And so there are definitely some benefits. And now I can say, to Linda Curry's point, I went to an HBCU, and now amongst all the ones that talk about they've gone to HBCU now. And it feels good because it's definitely a culture in Maryland and definitely a social talk that we have about going to HBCUs.
All right. Yes, thank you for sharing. All right, Jonathan Hairston.
Yeah, just to kind of add on to what everybody else has been saying, I would say you definitely have a sense of identity going to an HBCU where you're known by your name and not just a number. Where you can walk on campus and you can find people that have had similar situations, you know, whether it's you all are the first to attend college. And so you push each other, you push one another to make sure that you see it through. You have a shoulder to lean on at any given time, no matter what you're going through, which, you know, there were times where it was $2.14 a day is all I had for meals. And, you know, but we had family. So we would all put our $2.14 together and we would go grocery shopping and we would make sure that we had our study groups together. When it came time for pledging season, you know, everybody recognized who was pledging, and, you know, you had this, there was like this schedule that you could just follow, you know, even in the summer months, you know, when schools weren't as crowded, you always knew, you know, Friday nights you had your parties going. And, you know, when we're talking about engaging with our young people as getting ready to go to these HBCUs, yes, it's great to talk about, you know, all the great things that happen, but you also have to take into consideration, it's gonna make you more accountable. And that's one thing that an HBCU will give you is accountability, because it can chew you up and swallow you just like any PWI will, but you have a band of brothers and sisters that are there to help you see it through. So that's the one thing I would add is accountability. It definitely does make you more accountable.
All right, thank you, Mr. Harrison, for sharing that important point. All right, panelists, I'm going to move on to the next question. And it asks, how does an HBCU education prepare students to become leaders in their field of study? Because we're talking about educating leaders for tomorrow. And so how does an HBCU actually do just that? Mr. Stacy Herring?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Perlman. I'm going to speak about my experience coming from Morris Brown College and then going to Georgia Tech via the dual degree engineering program. So it really prepared me in the aspect that at Morris Brown College, I felt that the environment was more conducive for my learning, smaller setting, intimacy with my professors, so I can get to know them on a one-to-one name basis, that tutelage, that mentoring, that relationship building that helped me as far as being in the field of my study. Because once I went over to Georgia Tech, you know, bigger situation, different environment, you know, different area of study. Whereas I felt that at Morris Brown College, it was really more on the theoretical and really more on the research aspect of it. Whereas when I got to Georgia Tech, it was just, here's your book, technically go figure it out. And so had I not had the preparation from my HBCU for Morris Brown College, by the time that I got to Georgia Tech, first of all, I was a little bit older, but I think that nurturing and that confidence level would not have been there. And I say that in hindsight, comparing all of my dual degree engineering students from the AU Center who came from the AU Center and then went to Georgia Tech versus my peers of Black students who went to Georgia Tech, you know, all 4 years. And there was a marked difference as to our preparation for college and where we were versus the students who started there at Georgia Tech from their first day at the Institute. So I really do believe it prepared us to be leaders, to be confident in our field of study, which helped propel us even forward when we became actual engineers professionally. Thank you.
All right, thank you for sharing. All right, Victor Taylor.
I want to elaborate more on the confidence level. I mentioned this in the chat, but safe spaces where there are spaces where you can say how you feel and no one else is going to challenge you on that. It is cool to have those safe spaces, and a lot of these universities are implementing these spaces. However, you will lack confidence on that because you're not going to be challenged on how you feel, and then when you're not being challenged, your knowledge is not going to really grow. Another thing that I learned from these other universities is that they are not going to call on random people in classes because they're afraid that they may hurt your feelings. I got this on my evaluation where they said that they felt intimidated when I called on them. Once you start working, there's no such thing as safe spaces, and you will be challenged. If you don't know what you're doing, they will challenge you on that. At HBCUs, you have to know what you're talking about. My professors challenged me big time, especially my molecular biology professor that put the fear of God in everyone. But that helped me because it helped me conceptualize my information so I can know what I am doing. And when I go out there outside of my school, I know what I'm doing in my field. And that's the big thing that I got from these HBCUs, and which at the big universities, especially the white universities, how they're taking away the confidence from the students because they're afraid to hurt people's feelings.
All right, thank you for sharing, Mr. Taylor. You know, I would say as a graduate of an HBCU, you know, that many of the professors at an HBCU really take the education of their students personal. And so if their students are not succeeding, they truly believe that they're not succeeding. So I echo that point that you made. All right, moving to our next panelist, Ms. Tiffany Nabors.
Hi, so yeah, I definitely, in my personal experience, felt like my HBCU gave me the courage to lead. I went in as a very shy person, and I came out with just like a lot of leadership experience, and then just surrounded by love and support. And that just, you know, with the combination of all of those things, the social experiences, what matures as a result of that, the confidence to be a strong networker, that plays out in the business world especially. But then also the sense of pride to want to represent your HBCU well as a way to give back, I think is also a big part of what gave me the courage to lead and what developed from there. And it plays out in my job.
All right, thank you for sharing. And I would just like to add a important point. I think for a lot of our young people, and young people who might be in the audience today, I think there's a misconception that if you attend an HBCU, then you will not be able to be prepared for what you're going to face in a world that does not mirror it. But I would say just the opposite. It actually builds up your self-esteem to be able to face the larger society that does not look like you. And so I just wanted to make sure we clarify that misconception for our students who are out there, because again, as we pointed out at the beginning, there are many individuals in all walks of life who have attained success, whether they be politicians, whether it be in the media and journalism. They have obtained their level of success from the confidence that they receive from their education at an HBCU. So again, just wanted to make sure we point out that misconception. All right, so we're going to move to our final segment.
Can I elaborate on that real quick?
Sure.
Yes, and reason why a lot of people think that you're not going to get a good education from the HBCUs is because they think that they lack resources. Even though you could say that, yes, the white colleges, the big universities have more resources, the HBCUs do not lack resources, especially depending on what what major you want to get into, they have a huge network. At my school, personally, when they have their engineering program, they bring in a lot of engineers, especially from people like Exxon and Shell, to their events where the students are able to give their resumes to apply for their internships. And they take that very serious, because if you don't come there, look professional, they will kick you out because you're representing the school. In my major, biology, they work with University of Texas medical branch, and as well as Texas A&M Medical School, where they set up a program where if you pass and meet these requirements, you can skip the interviewing process for medical school and automatically get into their medical school. That's the same thing at North Carolina, A&T, where it's a very beautiful campus, a very, very, very good engineering program. Same thing with Howard University. They have all these networks to make their students succeed and put them in their position.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Yeah, thank you for sharing that with our audience. All right, so we're going to move on to our final segment, segment 3. And it talks about HBCU pride. So for our panelists, what does the phrase HBCU for life mean to you as an alumni of an HBCU? All right, we're going to begin with Mr. Walter Nabors.
Thank you, Dr. Perlman. So HBCU life means you're part of a community. You're part of an association. We talk about being members of the Divine Nine, part of a fraternity or a sorority. But when you're a part of an HBCU, you're also part of a larger fraternity and or sorority, because you're a part of that for the rest of your life. And I would venture to say, up and down the East Coast and parts of Midwest, you'll find an alumni association for your particular HBCU in almost every state. And what you'll find is, and when I started practicing law 25 years ago, some of the clients, the referrals that I received to build on my business came from those relationships that were built through my family of HBCU at Hampton University. So it means that you're in this for life. It means that when my friends' children come along and they're looking to get into an HBCU, I'm there to write that recommendation for them. I'm there to get to know them. It's my duty, my obligation to be a bridge builder and help them to guide their path to that HBCU, whether it's Hampton or Spelman or Morehouse or whatever the school is. We're all part of the same community for life, which means we have to give back. We have to continue to pour into that university. So you're not just there for 4 years. It is an ongoing experience that as you nurture those at your university, as well as those seeking to a higher education at your university. You're in essence an ambassador. Thank you.
All right, excellent point. All right, we're going to move on to Mr. Jonathan Hairston.
Well, it's kind of hard to follow up after he pretty much hit the nail on every coffin there as far as HBCU for life. But I will certainly add there is a pride behind your HBCU. And what I mean by that is I could care less what HBCU you went to. North Carolina A&T will always be number one in any conversation that we ever get into, because I am proud of my HBCU for life. That you can walk down any hall in any building and you can start a chant of Aggie pride and you will get a response. I guarantee it. No matter where you go in this world, you can yell. See, Mr. Pumphrey just has stated Aggie pride, and that's what HBCU for life is all about. It's just you have, like she said earlier, when your shoulders are up high, you keep your head up, your chin is up. There's your voice fluctuates. There's just this sense of like, there's nothing in this world that will stop my HBCU ever. And mine is greater than yours, but we're all equal. And it was all just about just achieving more and wanting to do more. It's the same thing with our fraternities and sororities. You know, there's a healthy sense of competition, even while you're in school, that when you get out of school, it's just like, man, you went through it, you did it, and you know that you got somebody that you can rely on, no matter what school they attended, that it's going to reach back and grab another and say, hey, it may not be for everyone, but if I could get one more to an HBCU, that will be HU, that they'll be there for life as well. So that's what I would say HBCU for life is all about, is reaching back and continuing along this journey, knowing that we'll be able to reach someone else to say, Aggie Pride.
Dr. Perlman, can I add something to his statement there?
Yeah, sure.
So the for life part also goes beyond just the homecomings. It goes into your own professional life as well. When you can impact a company to create programs that cater to HBCUs. I'm proud that prior to me coming to the largest security company in the world, they did not have an HBCU program. They now spend funding every year to sponsor HBCU conferences. They have special programs. So we have to also utilize our resources to make sure that for life goes into the business world. It's a perfect example. Our current vice president is from an HBCU. So to say that the education doesn't get you there for life, it does. So I'm very proud of all of our HBCUs. And I just want to set the record straight. Tennessee State has the greatest homecoming.
All right, thank you for sharing that. An excellent point that HBCUs definitely, they lead the way in developing our leaders of our nation. All right, next we have Mr. Victor Teller.
When I say HBCU for life, I take this us against the world mentality. And as I keep emphasizing that when you go out into the real world, they're just not looking at you. They're looking at you and the university that you came from. When you do well, you are opening doors for your university and for other students from your university to get into. And I feel closer to other people who graduated from HBCUs than what I feel from the white institutions, because we understand what we had to go through in order to get to where we are. God bless the Black people who went to those white universities, but I have grew callous to them because they cry racism and stuff like that at their universities. Well, back, I would say either in between 2009 or 2011, it was a huge Twitter fight where you had Black people from these PWIs, the predominantly white institutions, that was just crapping on HBCUs. They would say that, well, I chose to go to this white college because I'm not going to get the education from an HBCU. And I'm like, okay, screw you. I don't care where you're from. You put up with their racism. Because for us, at least we're going to do our part to build our HBCUs, to put the HBCUs on the map.
All right, thank you for sharing, Mr. Taylor. And I think that is an important point to make note of. When we talk about HBCU pride, it is a sense of pride when you leave the university after graduating and you enter into the world of work, where you want to make clear that you're going to excel to the top of your profession, and the experiences that you had at an HBCU definitely contributed to it. So thank you for sharing that point. All right, next we have Miss Tiffany Nabors.
Sorry, the one thing I'll add is that I think HBCU for life also means a commitment to supporting the school financially for life, because that's how we continue to sustain and bring others along. So none of great pride can continue without that financial wherewithal and contributions from all of us.
Yes, excellent point. You know, a lot of the predominantly white institutions, they have a strong alumni, and that's one of the reasons why they're able to raise a lot of money. And so, you know, becoming a part of the HBCU family, that is another important part of your responsibility to reach back and pull up someone else who's trying to embark upon that same journey that you took. So excellent point. All right, so let's go to Miss Linda Curry.
Hi. Man, Tiffany just took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, you know, give HBCU for life. It doesn't mean just going back for homecoming. It did mean giving back financially, giving of your time back. I mean, us, all of us here right now, you know, are doing this with pride, you know, to represent our schools and represent HBCUs, represent our sororities. And as you mentioned, you know, it is reaching back, recruiting for your school. You know, just being an advocate, dispelling the myths about HBCUs, you know, when people say, oh, it's just a big high school. No, you know, and just for a shameless plug for Tennessee State, we have one of the best nationally recognized engineering and business schools that get heavily recruited from a lot of you know, big corporations and things. So it's very much, you know, you just have that pride, and you say you have your shoulders up. You're always looking to rep your school, any school, you know, HBCU. You don't talk down about any HBCU. You know, we're a family, all of us. So that's what I would say.
All right, great points. Again, thank you for all sharing. So we're going to move on to the last question for the day. And it asks, what would you like to say to current MCPS students and their parents attending the panel discussion today who may still have mixed feelings about attending an HBCU? All right, we're going to begin with Mr. Stacy Herring.
All right, thank you, Dr. Perlman. To kind of piggyback a little bit when we were talking about HBCU for life, there again, for our background, you know, as I said myself, I'm a Morris Brown College graduate. My wife is a Morris Brown College graduate. Both of our daughters right now are attending an HBCU. They both attend Morgan State University. And part of that HBCU for life, when we were, you know, rearing them at an early age, we didn't impress upon them that they had to go to an HBCU. We definitely wanted to make sure that they knew an HBCU wasn't less than. So that was very, very important for us that they understood that. And so in answering this question, I was talking to my oldest daughter, Lauren, just the other day about this. Lauren is a 2018 graduate of Wheaton High School through their biomedical magnet program. And like I said, this is her third year at Morgan State University. And so I asked her about this whole thing about students and whatnot and parents. And I had her email me her answer kind of to this question. I'm going to read it to you. There again, from a current student in her third year, MCPS graduate at Morgan State University. She says here, I will be forever grateful that I chose to attend Morgan State University in HBCU. I'll never have to regret not going to one like many of my peers. There's just something about an environment where young Black scholars can embrace our differences and learn about all of the diversity within the Black community while also sharing an unspoken, oftentimes also spoken, love and understanding with the entire school community. Many schools in MCPS do not have the same demographics as HBCUs. For many families, this will be the first time you experience a majority Black environment. This is not something to be wary of. It's a blessing. At an HBCU, your achievements, excellence, growth, and opportunities are not framed in the ignorant context of, well, they're just Black. Everything you accomplish is because of your greatness. Yes. At Morgan State, I can appreciate and celebrate what I do without the focus being on my Blackness. Also, Black people are not a monolith. You meet people from so many different backgrounds with diverse perspectives and life experiences. There is someone for everyone at HBCUs in the same way as at PWIs. It is crucial to examine any apprehensions that may discourage a student from choosing an HBCU. When I was applying for colleges, a constant through my mind was, what's better for us than us? This idea helped me tackle any concerns about whether HBCUs were going to be the right choice or not. Now that I'm in my third year at Morgan, I can confidently say that choosing an HBCU was a perfect choice. Being at an HBCU is not only fostering tremendous academic growth and seriously preparing me for my future career, but is also empowering and uplifting me as a young Black woman. All of what I mentioned did not even include the famed culture and traditions of HBCUs, the homecomings, the band, the yard, and lots of other stuff along those lines. There is plenty more I can speak about on when it comes to attending an HBCU. It's something that I love and passionately encourage all MCPS students to do. And Lauren is a biology major at Morgan State with a minor in chemistry and a minor in psychology. Thank you.
All right, thank you for sharing that message with us this afternoon. I'm sure it will resonate with many members of our panel and with our audience, this afternoon. All right, at this time, we're going to move on to the next panelist, Dr. Stacy Atkins.
That was very well stated. And I just wanted to share, I have two older children. One chose to go to a PIW and the other one is a graduate of Bowie State Bulldog. So I have love for Bowie too. However, my daughter went to school in New York, and the PIW she went to, when she got out, she had to kind of like start building her network. And she's like, Mom, why didn't you force me to go to a historically Black college and university? And I tried to tell her that I did, but she knew better. But at any rate, I think that she missed out on all of the things that come along with, as we talked earlier, about going to a historically Black college and university in terms of the family, the networking, the band. I just love the band. And she was a band dancer in high school, so she really missed that, as well as the Greek collegiate connectivity, as well as just being okay in your Blackness, because she had a hard time at the PIW she went to because she did not look like the rest of her cohort. My son, however, on the other hand, who everyone thought was not college material, by going to Bowie State University and graduating well above with honors, it was a big deal for our family because he was a young man that, society, or I should say the school system, had kind of given up on. However, he went to Bowie State and he thrived in that environment. And I just think that that's something that you should think about if you're having mixed feelings, or if someone's telling you your child is not college material. I definitely think you should think about attending HBCU, because that whole perception and everything will change. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to share with you all today.
All right, thank you again, Dr. Atkins. All right, Mr. Victor Taylor.
First, I would ask your child what major or what career they want to do, what they want to be in. Once you figure out that major, then you could look at these HBCUs to see how their programs are. As I mentioned before, North Carolina A&T has a great engineering program. It seems like Morgan State also has a good biology program. If you want to be a lawyer, Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana has a good lawyer program. Once you figure that out, I will go and do a tour at those universities to get that feeling and see what that college could offer your kid. A prime example with my brother and me. I was a biology major. Prairie View A&M has a great biology program. It was good for me to go to Prairie View A&M for biology. My brother was an accounting major. I don't know too much about the accounting major for Prairie View. Instead, he went to University of Texas, where it turned out it was good for him because of the program he chose. So yes, look at the program, go to those universities to get that feeling and see what they have to offer. And also, as far as the homecoming concern, the white universities are having these Black experience homecoming. That's not a Black experience. You I don't care what you do, you can never have a Black experience at a white college. It's going to be a true Black experience. It's going to be at an HBCU.
All right, thank you for sharing that information about the culture of HBCUs and that welcoming culture of HBCUs as well. All right, now we have Miss Tiffany Nabors.
So I'm a current MCPS parent, so I can heavily relate to this. But when I think about, mixed feelings and what might drive some of those mixed feelings, most often as a parent looking across the board at different options, you think about rankings. That's pretty much the thing that comes to mind the most. And I think that, when you think about rankings, you really want to look beyond that and say, what about the outcomes? Because at the end of the day, you want your kids to excel as leaders and to find good jobs and to be well networked. And I feel like HBCUs are great launching pads for all of those things. And it's especially significant for, as we've seen today with different statistics, one I referenced earlier, they're the highest job placement rates, right, in terms of being able to get successful hires, and we're seeing strong outcomes. So I think, not being skewed or focused so much on rankings as the primary driver for decisions, and looking at the holistic set of measures, if you will, for that decision. And I think HBCUs, as the panel has so eloquently explained, provide a plethora of great options and a great launching pad for success.
All right, thank you for those important points. All right, next we have Mr. Walter Nabors.
Thank you, Dr. Perlman. Well, in my humble opinion, with respect to mixed feelings, get the facts. I know that the home by the sea, Hampton University, the real HU, for those that went to Howard, you have to go to the school. Because when you go to the school, the home by the sea, you will fall in love with the campus. When you pull any student, I don't care what student you pull, senior, freshman, you will have a conversation with them and they will tell you exactly why they love that institution. You can talk to their parents. We recently polled the brothers of Mu Chapter, Omega Psi Phi, serving Montgomery County for over 50 years. And we found that over the 130 members, many of which are on this call today, many of which are working throughout, have a strong allegiance to HBCUs. We found that almost 80% of the brothers in our chapter, out of 120 some brothers, over 80% of the brothers attended HBCUs. That's doctors, lawyers, architects, government high officials, SCSs, you name it. We serve as a resource. You have any mixed feelings, you reach out the phone, you call one of the brothers of Omega Psi Phi, and we will tell you, because we are representing almost every HBCU that is out there in this nation. I assure you, if you have unreadiness, you will have your issues resolved. So please do your homework, talk to a student that's currently attending, talk to someone that is in the local alumni association, because there is one in every state, as I stated, and you will resolve your unreadiness. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to participate in this panel discussion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nabors. All right, next we have Ms. Christina Putman.
Hello, everyone. Just a bit of practical advice. Oftentimes, the hesitation is around leaving your family and your comfort zone. And so in addition to doing the research on the school and taking the tours and talking to people who are current students as well as alumni, I would say take the leap of faith. What I always advise my students is that, if you find a university that you are uncertain about it being a little farther from home, outside of your comfort zone, you should just try it, because if it does not work out, you can always come back home. But 9 times out of 10, we have you at the HBCU. Your safety net is waiting for you to pull you up. Even if you stumble or fall, we won't let you stay down.
All right, thank you for sharing those inspiring words, Ms. Putman. I would concur that an HBCU they will make sure that you're taken care of. All right, Jonathan Hairston.
One thing I would add on top of everything else is that just understanding that if your child or student is looking to go to an HBCU, and they're African American or they're Black, just understand that it's not a novelty to go to an HBCU. You know, being Black isn't unique, or you have to have some special focus group like attending a PWI, where they want to make it, you're either a student athlete, or, you have to belong to a different group, or, you have to have a different social club because you all look alike. They want to kind of keep everybody in similar focus groups like that, because again, it's all about numbers at PWIs. My personal experience has been, you're a number at a larger school, where, going to any HBCU. I mean, there's this, like I said before, there's family, you're not unique in the sense of like, I'm here by myself. You have the ability to just be out on the yard. There's nothing like just being out on the yard and making that a sense of your own home. Like, you can bring a piece of DC down to whatever school you're going to. And again, it opens up so many more opportunities if you just take the chance of just attending one, just taking the tour with them, and just encouraging them. Because again, once they graduate, if they do go to an HBCU, they'll find themselves coming back and wanting to give back, like you all have accepted us today doing. So I would just encourage you guys to just keep the faith and encourage our HBCUs, because we're going to get to that point where we do become like in Ohio State, or, we do get that recognition no matter where we go, on both the national level, in the media, in sports, and in academics, and job placements, especially when we start talking about, I know, like ratings and stuff like that is a big thing as well. Just continue to give forth that effort in driving HBCUs as a top choice, and we'll all start to see that change.
All right, thank you. And Miss Linda Curry.
Hi. I just wanted just to summarize it real easily. You get the best of both worlds when you go to an HBCU. You get your educational enrichment, you get your cultural stimulation, and you get your social stimulation and stuff. So you get the best of both worlds when you go to an HBCU. So just consider that.
All right, thank you for sharing. And thank you to all panelists for sharing your personal experiences and your time this afternoon. We're going to move into the panel discussion. Q&A.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about something. No, they sent me the.
Dr. Perlman, you're on mute.
Sorry, I had to mute everybody, but Dr. Perlman had to continue.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, so we're going to move on to Q&A. And so Q&A, we're going to have the panelists respond to questions that will be entered into the chat. So if there are any questions that you have, additional questions that you may have for our panelists that they have not responded to today, please enter them in the chat this time. And we have about 5 minutes for this segment. And I will read the questions as they come in, and we'll just have panelists raise their hand for those who want to respond. All right, so we'll give another minute for any questions to be added to the chat for our panelists. All right, so at this time, I don't see any additional questions in the chat. So again, we want to...
Can I ask a question to the panelists?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
All right, so for the panelists, did you have any peers growing up that made you give a negative view of HBCUs before you even knew about HBCUs?
So I guess your question, Mr. Taylor, let me rephrase it. Was there any experiences that any of our panelists had that that made them question whether or not they should attend a HBCU by any of their peers or maybe family members or even, I guess, colleagues? And how did you respond? I guess that would be the follow-up to that question.
May I say something?
Yes, go ahead, Dr. Atkins.
So I didn't have any negative feedback from any of my peers, but one thing that I thought it would be important to say, as we're saying how great HBCUs are, they are wonderful. However, they're not easy. And once you get there, you do have to work. I mean, it's not like, I remember someone said a moment ago, people think it's like a high school. Well, no, it's not any of that. I mean, you definitely have to do the work. It is a safety net and it is a safe environment, but you're still going to be pushed to do the work. Also, someone said that HBCUs don't lack resources, and I just want to disagree to a certain level, because some HBCUs don't have the same resources as, you know, our the counter schools. And so there are some times where things will get tough and it may be a struggle, but I guarantee you when you come out of there, you're going to be well equipped to deal with all kinds of situations that you're placed in. Thank you for letting me share that.
All right, thank you, Dr. Atkins.
May I also share?
Yes, go ahead.
So while I do not have any peers that gave me a negative impression of HBCUs, I attended predominantly white schools in elementary, middle school, and high school. And as an African-American female who had an affinity towards mathematics, I often felt isolated because my schools and classes did not look like the demographics of the neighborhood in which I lived. So I was never allowed to go to my community school. And because of that experience, I could have easily said, I'll continue on that trajectory of continuing to go to a PWI because that's been my experience all through grade school. But my HBCU provided me safety to challenge myself and push myself beyond without feeling judgment and fear of failure, which I always had that in my grade level schools. What are they going to think? What if I am too smart or too advanced and things of that nature? But at my HBCU, I felt supported and knew I would be lifted up. And then it really taught me how to advocate for myself and advance my educational trajectory beyond what I thought I could do. It made me push myself, and I had others right along the way with me. So that was the most beneficial part about kind of deciding to break ranks with my previous educational experience.
All right, thank you for sharing it. And I know we're coming to a close for our segment as I'm being cued that we are wrapping up. But I would just like to just have our two last comments from Stacy Herring and Rita Smith, and then we'll give closing remarks. Stacy Herring.
All right, thank you, Dr. Probin. I'll be extremely brief. One thing I want to say when we were talking about negative experiences, HBCUs are not utopias. So there's going to be challenges in any institution that you attend, regardless if it's a PWI or an HBCU. However, I never let any negative experience that I had or heard about, they never outweighed the greatness and all the benefits of that institution. So just keep that in mind. We definitely want to paint the picture that if you go to an HBCU, it's going to be perfect. Nothing's perfect. That's it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for sharing. And Ms. Rita Smith.
Now, my comment was very similar to what Mr. Herring just shared. And based on my daughter's experience in choosing to go to Johnson C. Smith, she is a dance major and she's danced since she was 2. And she's trained in all genres, including being on point, which is something that most Black Americans don't go into, that particular genre of dance. And so she knew she wanted to go to school in North Carolina. She knew she wanted to go to an HBCU. She knew she wanted to be a dance major. And so it was, being a dance major is very narrow. And so we found 3 colleges, 2 were PWIs, and then Johnson C. Smith. And then we were told that there would not be a lot of funds available for a dance major at an HBCU. But my daughter was determined, and she was adamant, I'm going to find the money. There is money out there for Black dancers at Black HBCUs. And so depending, and we've said this earlier, what your major is, you may have to sometimes look for funding outside of the actual university and look specifically into that major, that field, because there are ways to fund. Because, unfortunately, some HBCUs do struggle financially, and that's a reality, and we can't shy away from that. But that's because many of us are choosing not to support our HBCUs, not choosing to give back. And I'm a proud alumni of St. Augustine's University, and I'm a proud member of the alumni chapter here in the DMV. And we fundraise, I give back, I support, and those are the things that make the difference. And someone in the chat asked about the difference between tuition. Tuition is tuition, and it's based primarily on the size of the school, who's funding the school, who's donating to the school. So there are a lot of things that go into that. So don't let what naysayers or the negativity say about what an HBCU is. Talk to people who've gone to HBCUs and talk to people who've gone to PWIs. Visit the schools and form your own opinion, and definitely go where is the best fit for you. And again, my daughter being a dance major, wanting to go to a HBCU, she's piloting a lot of things in the Charlotte community for dancers who want to learn, Black dancers who want to learn how to be on point.
All right.
On point ballet, not on point like you on point with it. On point.
All right. Thank you for sharing those final words. Perfect way to end our session today. With your comments. And so at this time, MCPS staff, parents, students, panelists, and community organizations, this concludes the 13th annual HBCU College Fair and panel discussion. I'd like to first, again and foremost, thank our panelists. I would also like to thank Ms. Alexis Lee, who is a K-12 counseling and instructional specialist in the Office of Student Family Support and Engagement, for assisting with organizing the panel discussion. Have a great afternoon and be safe.
Thank you.
Dr. Perlman, real quick,